USCC playoffs as we're moving forward again to one that's going to be really, really exciting. It's Gore, it's inbound, and we have gotten all this way in, I would argue, through surprise after surprise, right? You go to Europe, you look at it, and most of the time, there were a couple upsets, right?
Yep.
But most of the time, the higher-seeded team were finding their wins. You come to North America, we don't do that here. We keep things spicy and interesting all the way through. Sages are waiting for the loser of this next match at the very, very end. But the winner here of the Storm and the Wardens, well, I'll tell you, they're going to be going to the SWC group stages January 4th. It's going to be the next time we see either of them. And at this point, we'll end up throwing their names up on the screen. And you should just do a job, like, even if one of these teams, because one of them's going to lose here.
Yep.
And they potentially will not make it, depending on if the Sages are able to beat them. But even if one of them does not make it there, you should do your best to just memorize these names, because they have been playing absolutely not only lights out, but there's a chance that you never know where they could end up in the future, right? I mean, when you have a performance like this, getting to group stages, some of these teams, all you need is one upset, right? Over the Gladiators, the Hounds, the Ravens, like any of those teams, like if you can find that window, suddenly maybe you're going in there. Of course, I know we'll be maybe breaking into more group stage and qualifier talk once we actually have all the teams that are there. But these guys inbound, they every single one of them has just been playing lights out so far this weekend.
Yeah, and I want to draw your attention a little bit more to the Storm side of things, because the Wardens have had players that have competed before. They've done well. I mean, Delnnyyy's won a Console Worlds. ELLEON's won a Console Worlds. They've both competed on PC. The other three might be a little less known, but they're still great players that are in a lot of ranked games, so you should know them. But this opposite side, this Storm team, has been a very welcome surprise with how well they've competed, not only as individuals in their 1v1s, their 2v2s, but just as like a team. Their 5v5s look great, and there's a reason that they haven't dropped a set yet, and there's a reason that they're in this win and promo match. Like, they have played that well. They've beaten all these other teams, and yeah, just shout out them, shout out the Wardens too.
Yeah, I'm yesterday on the SMITE Pro subreddit, there was a thread that was titled Ratmilk. And then the discussion just said Ratmilk. It's just like because guess what? He's just been that guy so far. It's been fun to watch, and these teams continually surprise us every step of the way. I would not be surprised if this one is a hard-fought set as well, just given the way that the two of them have played. Or maybe we'll get a surprise. I honestly would have bet the last one would have been gone 3. Yeah. So we'll have to figure it out. Wardens, Storm, and it's the Wardens who are first pick as we jump into picks and bans here for game number 1. And the real thing we've been seeing, and this has changed, I think GIobe, nnog, both incredible players. I feel like there might be some jungle presence in this one. Maybe, again, some sprinkling of those mages, since they're a little more than just your mid laners nowadays. But unsurprising, the Thor, the Thoth, and the Chernobog, the Afro, the Athena, and the Kukulkan. So that limits a few of the things. Raijin, Puch, Poseidon's still available. So quite a few things that are great on the board, and Raijin is the first pick.
Yeah, it's those mages that are sticking out to me. Puch, Raijin, and we actually get those two locked in right off the bat, paired with this Ganesha, which has seen some really high prio, some top 2 prio, and then some lower prio. And on the opposite side, ELLEON is going to play this. There's no trick, there's nothing. There's nothing with slash also on this Thanatos. If it is open, and there is not another god that they have locked in that role, expect the Thana, expect the Maui. They've looked really good on it. On the opposite side, we saw the Suki last time from Tegveer. I hope it goes back to him, because he dominated that lane, and he team fought really well, which is not something I expected.
Well, the glory of their draft, right, is that right now, it kind of, well, Ganesha, we know where he's going, right? But the others kind of keep it a little more ambiguous.
For
like,
sure.
Puch could be mid, Puch could be solo, Suku could be mid, solo, or jungle, like he's played all 3. Got to be a little brave to take him into mid right now, but it still happens, so you never know. Hachi gets locked in. Then we go over Kukulkan and Ishtar. And again, so some of these warriors we've been seeing, but Kukulkan, it's been something that's on the fringe of coming back. It's just every now and then, again, when these mages are gone, or if you don't think the mages will quite fit into your comp or have a good matchup, he's been coming back through.
For some reason, I thought you said Kukulkan, and I was like...
No, he was banned.
But yeah, you said Kukulkan.
That's explicitly why I started saying Kukulkan, was because they sound too similar.
They sound way too similar. But yeah, the Kukulkan, we've seen it a little bit. The Wukong, the Nike, a couple of these warriors kind of coming back up. And the last pick, the Susano, should mean Opwash mid, and we should be able to see that Suku in solo again. The difference in playstyle with these two comps, and the last time we saw the Suki was against that warrior in solo lane that he kind of dominated in lane. So I think it's a little bit on Delnyyy to not fall behind early, because Kaolin team fights very well because he's that free engage tool, but not the best laner, like a little weird in the laning phase. So Delnyyy can get through that laning phase healthy, even or a little bit behind only. I really do like this Wardens comp.
Well, if you ask anyone on Wednesday where they think we're going to end up, this probably was not going to be on many predictions for your brackets, but I'm excited to be here. Wardens in the Storm, and it's all going to kick off in Game 1 as we go down to our casters.
That's right, it's Game 1 for our winners finals. Winner of this match goes to the SWC group stage. It's also got to start here in Game 1. I'm J-Mac, joined here by Spooky, who gets to jump in with us. We get to jump into this winners finals, and I think the desk said it perfectly, Spooky. These are not the two teams that were expected to probably be fighting for the first spot for winners finals for that first qualifier match, because these are the lower seeded teams. Xibalba Storm was 6th seed coming in this tournament, if I'm not mistaken. Kaolin Wardens were 4th or 5th. We have our bottom 3 SCC teams now fighting for our last 2 spots.
Yeah, if you asked anyone going into this who you thought you'd be seeing in these finals, neither of these team names would have come up. That's not to say they aren't filled with talented players, but throughout the season they've been struggling more than the Valhalla Valkyries, the Tyrian Weavers, who the Storm just destroyed the Weavers in their own match, and now they find themselves here on the cusp of heading to Worlds. And a lot of that has to do with Ratmilk and GIobe. The jungle and mid laners for this Storm team have been absolutely phenomenal. Now, I was a little surprised the Storm banned out the Kukulkan, who GIobe was so proficient on. I'm going to see a slightly different look on this Opwash. The action in the mid lane, oh my god!
Damage from the Raijin just enough. The mid 2v2 of the Kaolin Wardens just a bit too potent for the Xibalba Storm here in the first minute of the game, and that's already going to be first blood now for the Kaolin Wardens. I thought for a moment we'd see it in the dual lane with how active ELLEON has been on this Maui, and I think that's where I want to maybe pivot my next point of conversation, has been this Maui. There's nobody else playing this pick. ELLEON jumps in this week and says, I'm going to play the Maui, and no team is stopping him from doing it. They're just letting him play this pick game after game, and it's working out so well for this Wardens team.
Yeah, this absolutely screams comfort pick for me. This is a god that plays like ELLEON likes to play. You can run at them, you can get aggressive. Much like slaaaaaasH trying to get aggressive in that jungle, forcing Ratmilk away from those Harpy camps. It's just a very fitting god for his style. But I think the reason we don't see a lot of other teams pick it up is because it is punishable, right? Your big CC, other than your ult, is you have to jump in to land that stun. It's kind of like Sobek, where if you miss it, you're now out of position. But for Maui, even if you land it, you're still out of position. You're still throwing yourself forward, and you're not throwing anyone out of position in return for it. So it's a high-risk, high-return type god, and that's just what ELLEON likes to see on his picks.
ELLEON still getting aggressive on the Maui, diving in, going for those pulls, grabbing Hapn back time after time. Shippigami and Hapn just have not got to have a good time in the dual lane. Tubahh's been able to put out the pressure on the Ishtar, and ELLEON just essentially standing at tower line, saying, I dare anyone to step up. He's going to dive in again, right off that solar swing on top, and now taking a bit of damage. Good CC by Tubahh, make sure to bail ELLEON out for being maybe a bit too aggressive, but I would love to see maybe Ratmilk come over to this dual lane, try and alleviate a bit of pressure on that side, but he's been kind of relegated to sitting around this mid, trying to keep this Opwash alive, trying to help out GIobe, who fell down for that first blood just earlier. And I think the thing that's maybe surprised me the most, though, out of all of these kind of picks that have popped through and ones that have performed so well, really has kind of been this Tsukuyomi. You know, the Warriors in general have not been great over in the solo lane entirely. There's been some great pickups. The mages have kind of been the dominant, and with maybe how potent Breastplate of Valor has been, I'm surprised to see just how well Tegveer's been doing on this assassin solo.
It's just a slightly different style than those mages, right? He still has some very good long-range clear. He still fights very effectively. I think he's going to struggle a little bit more into this Kaolin, which is why we see Delnyyy pick it up. A slaaaaaasH going to make us hold that thought.
Well, Hapn up into the sky. The execute's there, and they're going to give that one over to slaaaaaasH. But now Ratmilk is here. Typhoon is charged up and hits 2. But there's not enough follow-up damage. Even the Dark Pillar's not enough. The Scythe hits from slaaaaaasH, and it's going to put Ratmilk at critical health back into the tower. He goes. Shippigami blocked out. ELLEON trying to body block. but Shichigami able to get that EI Jutsu back to the tier 1 tower he goes, but it's a second kill now for the Kaolin Wardens just 4 minutes in.
This is exactly what they want to be doing. This draft screams early aggression. From right side to left side, the Kaolin Wardens want to fight. And getting these early kills onto slaaaaaasH on this Thanatos is integral in keeping their ball rolling here. The Wardens off to an excellent start. Now, it's been some action in the mid lane, some action in the duo lane. It's been a little bit tougher for them to find the kills they're looking for, though, especially in that duo side where Shichigami and Hapn are able to play so very safe. I'm surprised they get caught out so far forward. It takes a while for Hapn to go down. Eventually does fall to the execute. If Ratmilk had been there just a little bit sooner, they might have been able to do a little bit more while they were trying to kill Hapn in those Dharmic pillars. Unfortunately for them, just a little bit too slow on that rotation. Now the Wardens secured themselves a slight lead, about 1,500 to their name. We're still early in the game, so we're not going to be seeing any Gold Furies being looked at. Far too soon for that. The Wardens are definitely setting the pace of the match right now. They're telling the Storm, this is the game that we want to play, and you're going to abide by those rules. If the Storm want to find a way back into this, they have to break out of that rhythm first. They cannot allow slaaaaaasH to rotate wherever he wants. They have to be able to punish this over-aggression of the duo lane as well.
And I think there's a conversation really to be had just in general of giving that kill to slaaaaaasH in the duo lane, because you think there were 3 people there. ELLEON would literally jumped up in the sky, was swinging back and forth, could have landed down and gotten that kill on Hapn. Tubahh was saying right there, could have thrown an easy basic attack against him, gotten that kill. Instead, they waited for slaaaaaasH to go all the way up in the sky and then come down for the execute, and giving that kill to the jungler at least leads me to believe the Kaolin Wardens really want to bank on this early pressure from the Thanatos and then get slaaaaaasH and nnog to really be the carries for this team through the early game. And so far, it's been working out for the Wardens. As mentioned, 1,500, nearly 2,000 gold up for the Wardens. They're going to keep the pressure up in the left side. ELLEON swings over the wall, but Xibalba Storm able to scatter away for the time being. Ratmilk back towards purple, and at least for Shichigami back to the duo lane to keep farming up over on those minions.
Yeah, despite the gold lead, XP is still even across the board. No real level advantages have come through. Slight one over on the right side, but that's probably the least impactful early game level lead that you're going to see. We're not going to see Delnyyy rotating out of here for a little bit longer still, so this lead is really just about the solo lane. And Tegveer on the Tsukuyomi can play far enough back that he's not too concerned with that. Dharmic pillars get dropped there. Forces a ults.
Nearly gets a kill. Whoa, ELLEON goes for the straight ultimate. Catches Hapn's dash out under the tower. Tries to keep pulling him back, but it's a kill over in mid lane. GIobe teaming up with Ratmilk, able to pick off slaaaaaasH. Still had access to his ultimate. Couldn't get up into the sky in time, I'd assume. The Kaolin Wardens starting to fall apart just a little bit here after their early lead. Nearly 2 deaths over in the duo lane and 1 actual death over in mid. Xibalba Storm with a bit of fight back. Tubahh now back in the lane, able to farm up. Kaolin Wardens might need to pump the brakes just a little bit.
The Storm has definitely shown throughout this tournament so far, they are not ones to go quietly into the night. You can knock them down a peg or two. They are more than willing to get right back up and find themselves another fight. I like the aggression in that duo lane. Unfortunate for them that they weren't able to confirm really any kills there. All they actually pulled was the ultimate out from Tubahh and ELLEON after the fact. I wouldn't count that as pulling it. slaaaaaasH in his ult pulled as well. Storm, they're now hitting the mid-game stride here, reaching level 9s, level 10s, and they're looking to start fighting back into the Wardens here. They've passed the early game danger zone, and at only a 2,000 gold deficit, that's not the worst look in the world. You can easily give that up if you're looking to stay on parity in the levels. Come back into this mid-game, start scrapping a little bit more. We're getting closer to the point where Fury's going to be in contention. Not quite at the Pyromancer discussion just yet. As the time ticks on, I think the Storm are ready to start looking for these brawls.
And I think something you brought up earlier, which was just maybe the lack of a specific pick for GIobe, could come back to hurt the Xibalba Storm a little bit. Really, neither of these teams with great secure on-field towards objectives when things like the Kukulkan, the Thoth have been so prevalent. Really, these last 2 weeks of SCC play, those 2 gods in particular, have been seeing a lot of play and a lot of action, and, well, to their same credit, a lot of success for the teams that have gotten their hands on it. So now without that guaranteed secure, maybe does make things a bit dicier around these objectives. So let's see which team is maybe more willing to go for those coin toss or maybe just try and bait forward. See if they can get a team and start up a fight. Dual lane is where you typically want to get that one started. Take down the support, especially with Hapn, those Dharmic pillars. So potent at being able to shred down that objective. Kaolin Wardens can find a pick over there. Might make things a bit easier for them, but it's Xibalba Storm getting aggressive. Ratmilk on the way. Hapn dashed in towards ELLEON. A good banner. Put some damage on the dual lane, but Ratmilk not interested in the fight. Instead, it's all about the farm for the Storm.
I like that from the Storm. Play it disciplined. Don't try to force too much there. I say that happens. Steps all the way forward. Slash is on the way as well. Might be running into him.
Oh, Slash up into the execute. He's just waiting for the chance to actually get it, but Hapn's healing back through it. Instead, he has to crash down. Shipigami already takes down Tubahh. All the while, because Slash took too long to go forward. A triple pull from ELLEON doesn't bring anybody forward. Instead, it's Ratmilk trying to go for the kill. Does take down the jungler. And ELLEON falls to Shipigami. Double kill for the Storm's dual lane Hunter. And 1 kill for their jungler. That brings the Storm right back in this game.
Yeah, this is what you gotta watch out for when it comes to the Storm. You can take these 2v2s, you can look for the small skirmishes. Well, if they start grouping up, man, they are phenomenal at team play. Shipigami on this Hachi has been so good in the lane. Yes, he was getting pressured in the early game, but that's why you pick the Ganesha and the Hachiman. You're just looking to play it safe and scale up. Nog, also in some danger. The silence cuts off the jump. Oh my god.
Oh no, has to use the Aegis. The fleeting breath nearly takes him out from Globe. The CC chain, just so difficult for these teams to deal with. I mean, Ganesh silence into a pull, into a Ganesh knockup afterwards. The Xibalba Storm pushed the mid laner back, and even the Hunter has left ELLEON no ultimate to try and steal this one away. If he wants to do it, he's either got to expend his body or just go in with a stray auto. Doesn't get it this time. Instead, he'll swing over the wall back to safety, and it's the Xibalba Storm who pick up the first objective of the game, Gold Fury to their name, and finally, for the first time this game, able to grab a lead.
And I think this is exactly what the Storm are looking for. You talked about the lack of secure on the side of both teams, but I still think that favors the Storm with their team composition. They just have better tools for zoning and shredding these objectives. Drop the Empty the Crypts, massive area of damage. It's not just shredding the objective you're on, it's also pushing away the other team. They have to eat so much damage just to try to approach it. And with ELLEON being the only one there, he doesn't have the damage to even work through all that. Dharmic Pillars weren't even used on that objective. That's how confident the Storm was getting that one. Now looking at this beacon, see a small skirmish happen over this one. Slash in the area, keep an eye out. Tubahh also making the rotation.
ELLEON nearly had the beacon capped, but now has to walk away from it. As the Storm have all 5 players here, we're going to have a 10-man brawl in the mid lane for this beacon. ELLEON pulled back. Hapn drops the Dharmic Pillars onto a couple of different ones, but it's Tegveer getting pulled back towards the tower. Island doesn't get anybody this time for that landfall, but now it's Slash getting aggressive. Toss out the Scythe and gets a bit of damage. Lower health bars on the side of the Xibalba Storm. Ratmilk's going to go in. Ultimate from the Puch. Out of Globe is keeping everybody on the side of the Kaolin Wardens back. This brawl for the beacon is going to go in favor of the Xibalba Storm. No blood spilled, but an objective once more for the Storm.
That was very calculated from the Storm. The only reason there's no blood spilled is because they did not want to spill any blood. Tegveer held onto his ultimate that entire time. Ratmilk holding onto the Typhoon. They were just daring the Wardens to come forward onto that beacon. They knew who had the better fight in that small area. They simply focused on pushing the Wardens out, dealing that poke damage, and make sure they couldn't step up any further. Now Tubahh in some danger. The blink comes through from Ratmilk. It's a close 1v1. Tubahh gets it! What?
Tubahh with one big kill now for the Kaolin Wardens. Slows down the momentum of the jungler and gets him a little bit back in this game. Tubahh was starting to fall behind, almost 2 levels down to Shipigami, but now that kill, shutting down Ratmilk, is going to help him out quite a bit. Getting aggressive by Nog in the mid lane. Globe's taking a bit too much. Has to use the Aegis. ELLEON pulls it back. It's into the Taiko drums for Nog. Empty the Crypts, not enough damage to get the kill, but maybe with the help of Hapn, they can do so. Aegis used. Nog's walking away. ELLEON's got to help him out. There's a bubble there for Hapn. Nog, don't stick around and try and fight. Just bail yourself out. You've already escaped. It's 1 kill now for the Kaolin Wardens to answer back to the Xibalba Storm, and giving it over to Nog puts him up at 2-0.
That Hapn really saw the opportunity for the Ganesh solo kill, and he wanted that one. He wanted to tick that kill number up. Unfortunately for him, those cooldowns on this Raijin are a little bit faster, able to dash away. That's an excellent pickup for Nog in the mid lane. Being able to put Globe down, now 1 and 2. It's not going to put him too far behind, don't get me wrong. He's still even on level, still very close in the gold department as well. But anytime you can get pressure around that mid lane, could open up Shinigami to some danger. Holy!
Shinigami's playing very aggressive on the Hachiman, and, well, it's paying off for him. Nearly half of Nog's HP with a nice little combo from the Hunter. Will put the mid laner a bit of danger on the side of the Kaolin Wardens, but with Slash and ELLEON nearby, means it's just poke more than anything, but it opens up an opportunity now for the Xibalba Storm to go for Pyromancer. They'll secure that one for themselves and add a Runic Bomb to the pocket of Hapn on the Ganesh. Slash does manage to get a Scythe against Hapn, trying to backhead himself over into the fountain just to buy up a little bit. I'm curious maybe where the rest of some of these builds do pan out for Hapn and really for the rest of the Xibalba Storm. It is a shell to go along with that meditation, and I think we actually got to see a perfect display of that meditation. If you go all the way back to that dual lane for how long Slash tried going for that execute. Hapn pops that relic, that meditation, keeps him alive for so much longer. Maybe that was the turning point for the Xibalba Storm.
Yeah, this meditation, along with the benevolence, really does sneaky healing to keep the Storm alive and away from that execute threshold. It's really most potent. Hang on there.
No, he takes it?
The Fury.
Did not take that with 1 tick of ult. He nearly kills Ratmilk at the same time. It was 305 damage from 1 beat of the Taiko drums. Kaolin Wardens will halt the potential of the Xibalba Storm at the objective. And now push towards mid-tower. Nog and ELLEON have plenty enough damage to take this one down, so it's an objective steal and a tier 1 tower. Again, nearly taking out Ratmilk at the same time. That was sub-100 HP for the jungler of the Xibalba Storm, limping away from that one. Kaolin Wardens, a great answer back.
Man, that is just so hard to look at if you're the Storm. You're finally coming back, you found your footing, you get an objective, get the Pyromancer right after, and then from over the wall, Nog just plays his silly little drums and takes away your prize. Now they're looking to establish a little bit more on this map. Taking that tier 1 down in the mid lane gives them a lot of room to play on this map. It opens up so much. These buffs become so much easier to start looking at invading. Gives them so much more room to play aggressively here. The Storm now find themselves a little bit more limited on map space. Still very close is this game. But with the pressure on the map the Wardens have, they do certainly have an advantage. We're approaching 20-minute mark here relatively soon. You can assume we're going to start looking at Fire Giants after that. The Storm want to have good footing around that. They need to be able to find an opportunity to maybe take away that tier 1 tower from the Wardens as well. Open up some of the map for themselves, but they have to be able to create that opportunity. And so far, the Wardens aren't really giving them much leeway in how they can play this map. They're playing safe, they're playing smart, they're only really grouping up and fighting around these objectives. You can always expect them to show up to the Furies, you can expect them to show up around the beacons, but other than that, it's very difficult to find a foothold against either team.
The Kaolin Wardens started this off with about a 2,000 gold lead. Xibalba Storm were able to answer back, tie things up, even take a bit of a lead for themselves, but it's the Kaolin Wardens once again on top, 2,000 gold off of that objective steal in order to make themselves at least back where they were before the Xibalba Storm had some of that fight back. Now with the beacon spawning in, we get another 5-man rotation from the Xibalba Storm to the objective. See if another big fight breaks out. Delnyy's made his way towards the backline. ELLEON with the landfall doesn't find anything. Nnog Pillar only traps Nog in. Meanwhile, it's Delnyyy the back with 4 off of his ultimate. Gets the transformation, but it's Hapn who's out of position, and Hapn, who's got nowhere to go, he runs right into Delnyyy, and the execute from Slash puts him down, but Slash, he gets stunned out on landing in a Typhoon from Ratmilk. Will secure the kill, and now to the backline goes Tegveer with that piercing moonlight pulled back by ELLEON, and an empty the crypts dropped by Globe. Low health bars on the side of the Storm. Still healthy is Delnyyy and Tubahh if they want to step up and try and cap this beacon. It will be the Kaolin Wardens to do so. A 1-for-1, losing Slash, but taking out Hapn.
A smart pull back there from the Storm. Sure, Delnyy's going back to base, but he's got teleport available. Storm tried to step up any further to that one, and it was just lights out for them. Delnyyy, really the hero of that one for the Wardens, jumping in and just disrupting so much. He pushed 4 members of the Storm away from the beacon by himself, completely isolated Hapn, who then turned around and thought, well, hang on, I know I stepped up here with 4 other people. Where did they go? He found out shortly when he went to the gray screen and then got to just view the game from their perspective. Such an excellent space creation from the Wardens here. Storm will be able to answer back, taking an objective off the board for themselves, unless it gets stolen. Does not this time, but with Nog around, man, I never know anymore.
Well, I think Hapn actually ended up using one of the runic bombs just in case, because he had one in pocket, hasn't had a need to use it anywhere else, so drops a bomb for bomb, make sure that he at least comes up net even in that regard, but would have been nice to have been able to hold on to that one. Something like the Fire Giant if you're sieging one of these towers, but I guess better to be used than to be wasted at the end of the day, so Xibalba Storm answer back with another Pyromancer, keep this lead still only to about that 2,000, 2,200 mark for the time being, so with the game as close as it is, with the lead as minimal as it has been throughout the course of this game, how does this kind of gameplay favor these two teams going towards late game? Is this one where the Kaolin Wardens have a better late game, so they're fine playing it a little bit slower? Is this one where the Xibalba Storm really want to sit back and kind of farm up? Which of these two teams is favored a bit more in the late game?
In my opinion, it's definitely the Storm. And it's purely because they have this Opwash and this Ganesha on their side here. The Ganesha that Hapn is piloting makes Slash's job a lot harder on this Thanatos. You can go up and you can go down, but 9 times out of 10, if you're not isolating Hapn and taking him out of the equation first, you're just going to drop down into a silence, and you're just not going to get to do your job. They create so much space between the two of them that the Wardens are really reliant on Delnyyy repeating the same thing he did around that beacon at every fight. They have to be able to create space and push the rest of the Storm away so they can isolate a single member. If they can do that, they excel very well at picking off that member. ELLEON with the landfall can also create those opportunities himself, pull someone out of position, but it's on a longer cooldown. It's a little bit harder to execute. It's not nearly as guaranteed as the Storm simply walking up somewhere and saying, here are our AoE ultimates. Would you like to fight in them? No. Well, then we're just not going to use them. And they've shown that discipline several times where they don't drop these abilities until the Wardens are forcing a fight. Now, grouping up around this Fury, Wardens want the space. Landfall comes out, doesn't connect.
Does manage to pull ultimate from Shiπigami though, so some safety removed from the Hunter of the Xibalba Storm. But a full grouping over by this Fury. This Gold Fury could dictate where the next 5 or so minutes of play goes for these two teams. Kaolin Wardens can grab that one. Maybe try and make a beeline over towards the Fire Giant, or just try and get one of these team fights kicked off. It goes over to the side of the Xibalba Storm, and more so than anything, just evens the game out at that point, because we haven't really had a huge gold lead this game. Again, largest we've had is maybe close to around 2,500 gold in favor of Kaolin Wardens, but Xibalba Storm have been doing a great job of being able to hold their ground, be able to fight back, and kind of keep this game as close as it has been. That beacon, that final one, still a little bit of time before that third one drops in, and that's really where we've been seeing these group ups. So with these teams now starting to stack around the Skull Fury, really starting to allude to a bit of a team fight, so we can jump ourselves back in. And see, that teams have already dispersed a bit. Tegveer still on this side of the map, but you can see that Slash, he's kind of given up the idea of being on the left side. He's just going to go ahead and farm up that right side jungle, maybe get a little bit of solo farm for himself, and try and get himself more than anything to that late stage execute threshold. That 40% that you can get, I mean, 40% is no small number when it comes to HP. Means you don't got to kill him all the way. You just got to get him a little more than halfway, and you can land that execute for a kill.
The problem is he's playing against this meditation as well, and we've seen Hapn be able to counteract that execute already. Not quite as easy as I'm thinking he's hoping it will be. I like his decision to just leave this Fury Pit, though. If neither team is willing to pull the trigger, you might as well go do something else. Just get the farm that's in on the map. Otherwise, you're just wasting time, and you're risking that the Storm is doing the same thing on their end. Now, the Warden's pulling this one.
I think the Wardens saw that Ratmilk wasn't anywhere nearby and said it's a pull towards Hapn. Unfortunately, Ganesha drops the Dharmic Pillar. The bubble has been popped in the landfall, pulls him right back into the middle of the team, and Delnyyy takes him down with one small punch at the very end. Xibalba Storm down 1, and that's more than enough for the Kaolin Wardens to take advantage. 1 pick plus a Gold Fury has now given them a 4,000 gold lead over Xibalba Storm, and wouldn't you know it, they're already beelining over to the right side. Pyromancer and Fire Giant both available.
Yeah, this has to be a Fire Giant. Look, it's easy to pull down this Pyromancer very quickly. Hapn down for another 10 seconds. Still has to walk all the way back to the pit as well. Ultimate not available. This is a good look for the Wardens. If they want this objective, this is their time.
Now ELLEON and dead. Delnyyy trying to get a pick on anybody, but now Hapn has respawned, and the window of opportunity for the Kaolin Wardens has closed, at least for the time. If they can find one more pick, could make that Fire Giant play a possibility. But instead, it was just settling for the Pyromancer, grabbing any relics that they could, but none to be had. Again, only Hapn used his, and that was in the last team fight. Last beacon is up. ELLEON is here, not quite by himself. Does have nnog standing by, but 2 versus 5, not the best odds. Maybe with Delnyyy showing up in the space he's created on this Kukulkan, could give some chance. Back over to the Xibalba Storm, in fact, or I'm sorry, to the Wardens. What I was going to say is Xibalba Storm just backed away. They saw Delnyyy walk out. They said, look, we've dealt with this guy before. We don't want to fight him anymore. And they give up this 3rd beacon going over to the Kaolin Wardens. That Titan will now march down the mid lane.
I'm honestly surprised the Storm give that one up so easily there. They have such good fights around these beacons. And that said, the beacon's not worth dying over, right? It's a nice little boost, but it's not worth potentially giving the Kaolin Wardens an opportunity to go to the Fire Giant over. It's simply not that good. So I respect the decision to pull back a little bit. It does feel like they could have won that fight if they committed to it. Instead, they're opting to try to split this map a little bit, try to get some of these towers off the board. Still, Delnyyy just creates so much space, and with ELLEON on the rotation as well, this could be a pinch here.
Trying to grab Tegveer if they can. Silence from Hapn. Stops the first hook, but the second one goes through and gets the beads away. ELLEON goes in, gets the stun onto 2. Trying to pull back anybody. Landfall will just grab 1, and that 1 is nearly bursted down. Shippigami on the horse just to escape. It does manage to do so, but that's beads and ultimate from Shippigami. Now no CC immunity left in the kit, and the call for the Kaolin Wardens is to beeline it to the Fire Giant. Hapn, no ultimate. It's up to Ratmilk or Tegveer to see if one of them can weave their way in to try and go for it, or maybe it's just the fight for the Wardens. Nog is going to give up Fire Giant. He'll go up with ELLEON, who pulls another set of beads. Now it's Globe without anything. Slash right back to the Fire Giant. But the Kaolin Wardens, they're going to give up the objective for now.
Yeah, definitely the right call. Take a look. Tegveer and Ratmilk both have their ultimates still available. Pretty much nothing up for the Wardens. Not being able to secure a kill to get that Fire Giant into a 5v4 situation means they just do not have anything left in the tank if the Storm decides to step forward. Tegveer just has to drop the Piercing Moonlight on top of a Typhoon, and everything is ruined for the Wardens there. So they pull back, focus on those Titans, reset, wait for some abilities to come back up. Now we're looking at a 5-on-5 around this Fire Giant. Still going to be the Warden starting things up. They just want to bait the Storm forward. Oh, man, you can't do that, Tubahh.
I don't think he was expecting the Fire Giant to be reset to him. ELLEON was holding on to it and then walked out of the pit. Just said, well, here you go, Tubahh. I hope you're out of the pit already. Tubahh says, no, I'm still standing here right at the edge. Takes a bit of damage, nothing he can't heal back. Bubble burned away from Hapn. Ratmilk tries to get aggressive, but Delnyyy with 3 in the back line off the spear. Nearly gets taken out himself. Fire Giant gets brought into the battle. An ultimate from ELLEON pulls Hapn back. But Hapn is so low, Nog takes him down. And the Piercing Moonlight is sending Tegveer all across the map, but he's not going to get anything. Instead, it's Slash to return 1. ELLEON with the stun and Slash in the back line. Triple kill for the Thanatos. And it's only Globe left alive to deal with 5. And the lone Oposh with no ultimate, nowhere left to go. Gets the alternate timeline, but it's only to delay the inevitable. Quadra kill for Slash, and a Fire Giant on the watchful eye of the Kaolin Wardens. They take down all 5.
I think this is the second quadra kill we've seen from a Thanatos this tournament, J-Mac. This god has been popping off, and is no small part due to the player, Slash. Just absolutely finding the clinical dives down onto these teams. The Wardens have consistently just been picking the Storm apart, pulling them away from each other, displacing everybody. And the Storm have not found a true 5-on-5. We see them going in, but they get separated so quickly, so easily by the Wardens that it's just picking one person off one by one. The Tsukuyomi, I like the idea of being able to go in, hit that back line, and just shred through these health bars, but it's not happening. He's hitting a lot of people, he's dealing damage to a lot of people, but it's not enough, and he ends up on the wrong targets at the end of things, not close enough to Tubahh to comfortably walk forward and get the kill, too close to Delnyyy or ELLEON, and they just don't have anything to finish these kills off with. This was a 5-0 in favor of the Wardens. 29 minutes into the game, that's the kind of thing that loses the game.
Well, remember, as Gold Fury, Primal Fury, if that goes down, I want to draw your attention to the lead that the Kaolin Wardens now have. Remember, we were talking earlier about how 2,000 gold was about all we were hitting. No, it has been a mountainous climb upward now for the Kaolin Wardens. 14,000 gold, 20k XP, not as relevant at this point. Really, it's only Hapn who hasn't been able to hit that level 20 point on the support role. Meanwhile, ELLEON has been able to cap out to that 20. It is that 14k gold that's the more staggering number, because you look across the board for the Wardens, where aside from Leon, who's still holding on to his recipe, everybody else is full build for the Kaolin Wardens. Not a single person has been able to sell a recipe on the side of the Xibalba Storm. We're talking full item power spikes plus over and ahead for the Kaolin Wardens now. They take out tier 2 tower on left. The tier 2 and mid taken right after that fire giant was finished up, and a pyromancer for the Wardens. So now, where will the chaos continue to reign for them? Right side tier 2, the only one left standing for the permanent structures on the map. I wonder if we'll see the Kaolin Wardens even push beyond just that tower. Maybe, do you think a threat on a Phoenix is a potential call for the Kaolin Wardens at this stage?
It's entirely possible. They've got some room to play with on this fire giant. Mostly, they're going to commit to this tier 2, and they're probably just going to check the response around these Phoenixes. There's nothing really else for them to go to. Fury is down, Pyromancer's down. I'm actually just going to reset. I expect them to maybe step forward and just try to soft pressure a bird, see what they could get any chip damage in on it. Instead, they opt to just go back, reset, get their farm, probably just prepare for the next fire giant. It's going to be enhanced, and that's the one that they're really going to look for. At a 14k deficit, the Storm is going to have a very difficult time fighting around this pit. So it's really just the safe option from the Wardens here. Sure, they could step forward, look at those Phoenixes, but even though they have a 14k lead and the fire giant, if they make a mistake, if they misplay somewhere, the Storm could find a way back into things. So instead, play it smart, pull back, reset, spend the gold that you got from this push. And while we might see a little position around this mid-Phoenix, we're not going to see a hard push, I don't think.
About another 40 seconds on the fire giant buff for the Kaolin Wardens, but this might be the end of their push. Slash going to head back to base. He's still got that runic bomb in pocket for him and for Leon, so they could still go for a siege or save those for maybe a bit of secure around the next fire giant, because it will be an enhanced fire that spawns up the next time up. The Kaolin Wardens don't seem to be interested in going for these Phoenixes just yet, so Xibalba Storm at least have that going for them, which means that they can step up if they wish to for these fire giants. But being so far down, 17k now pushing ahead for the Kaolin Wardens, it's going to make it so difficult for Xibalba Storm to step up. Again, only now tier 2 items being bought for Xibalba Storm. You know, on the opposite side, we're already starting to see power potions popping up. I mean, Slash went back and bought a red pot. I'm pretty sure Tubah's got a red pot in pocket. Nog probably has one, maybe two ready to go at this point. And Xibalba Storm are so far down in gold and itemization that really, if anybody steps even an inch too far forward, I feel like Slash could probably just two-tap somebody with Tubahh.
Yeah, I don't even know if he needs Tubahh to be two-tapping people at this point. That scythe is dealing a lot of damage. And Slash have been putting it to very good use so far. Has now 3 runic bombs for the Wardens. I'd be surprised, honestly, if any of them get used on this fire giant. I think the only way they drop a runic on this EFG is if the Xibalba Storm decide to step forward at the tail end of things. That the deficit they're at, I just don't think that's happening. Instead, they're going to try to group up around these Phoenixes. They have good Phoenix defense. Everything that's true about their objective shreds is true around the Phoenix as well. MP the Crypts does great work on zoning away from the Phoenix. Dharmic Pillars, Tegveer with his Piercing Moonlight can bounce through a siege. It's just a matter of how quickly can they deal damage. At the deficit they have, these items I just don't think give them the ability to kill the Wardens as quickly as they need to. With the EFG around the belts of all 5 Wardens, these structures are going to drop very quickly. Backdoor protections just aren't going to be a thing they have to worry about. Oni Fury on top of it. This is just every piece the Wardens could want to make their siege look really nice, falling into their hands. They're saying, oh yes, thank you. Let's go ahead and just put that into play. They've got some time now. They're going to back off, reset, spend some gold, and just wait for these Onis to step forward. Once the Oni minions get to the bird lines, that's when the siege is going to start.
So the Kaolin Wardens buying about another 30, 45 seconds, I'd say, before we really start to see the action kick off. And even with the deficit that the Xibalba Storm are at, maybe at least a few tools in their kit to try and help defend on some of these sieges. Always drop that empty the crypts. Essentially makes it a no-play zone. Dharmic Pillars not fun to fight into either, so Kaolin Wardens do need to be cautious of those 2 ultimates. They're going to take a bit of time. Step forward, get a grouping over towards left. It's the most valuable Phoenix if you think that this game might be going a little bit longer. You want to have to go for another Fire Giant, but is enhanced. Don't need to wait for the minions, but will do so for now. 3-man grouping in mid. The other 2 over onto the left side for the Kaolin Wardens. Might even just leave Tubahh by himself. Nog goes up into the ultimate. He does manage to clip Hapn. He's losing a lot of HP. Down into the back. Can barely even get the ultimate off before he's silenced out. Left side Phoenix. A foregone conclusion. The Kaolin Wardens walk up and take it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, there's 1 runic bomb down. 2 birds left. 2 bombs as well. Might be seeing a bomb a bird at this rate. They're looking at the mid now.
Another one dropped. Another half HP Phoenix for the Kaolin Wardens. Still holding on to another runic bomb for Slash. The heavy lifting has already been done by that first runic bomb. Getting that bird weakened down just a little bit. Now waiting for that next step up. Letting the minions start to stack up over on the left side are the Kaolin Wardens. That first fire wave pushing forward. Delnyyy jumps in place. Maybe trying to bait something forward. ELLEON does manage to grab Globe. The beads are late. The Aegis has already been used, and now the mid laner is out. Slash up in the sky. He's waiting for his target, but he's not going to get anyone low enough. The damage from Nog just a bit too late to try and put a low health bar on the side of the Storm. Phoenix is starting to regenerate. Next minion wave on the way.
But Onis are no longer in the equation. This EFG is going to strip these backdoor protections down. They're going right back in.
Dharmic Pillars have been dropped down. Hapn loses out on the bubble. The Phoenix is still alive and healthy, but Globe, I can't say the same for him. He's got alternate timeline and might get a nice little bit of use here. Land on by ELLEON. The revive is going to pop back through. Nog in danger in the backline, but he takes out 1, and then a second one falls at the same time. Tubahh, though, already out of the fight, but Slash is going to keep on ripping right to the backline. Triple kill, make it almost 4, taken away by Leon. But that's going to be game, set, and match here in game number 1 for the Kaolin Wardens.
Nearly a double quadra for Slash on the Thanatos. Kaolin Wardens looking absolutely clinical on that siege. Tegveer tried going into that Piercing Moonlight to try to get those last kills. He could have taken Slash out, but it was too little, too late. Dies while channeling the ultimate. And because of that, the rest of the Wardens get to simply roll on forward, take down that bird, take down the entirety of the team, and they just don't have anything left in the tank. The Storm end up going out with really a whimper on that one.
It's really been dictated by the pace of mid and jungle, specifically jungle for a lot of these teams out here. You got to find a way to slow down the Kaolin Wardens mid too. You got to find a way to slow down ELLEON too. Man, this Maui has been absolutely crazy. We'll see if the Xibalba Storm can find those answers in game number 2 right after this break.
YouTube.com/SmitePro, the place where you can find a ton of videos. And we talked a lot about the videos, most recently a ton that are coming out. Actually, one that just came out yesterday, the Camelot Kings Road to Worlds video that you should check out. A few days ago on Wednesday this last week, the Dragons Road to Worlds. More of those are going to be coming, so you want to click subscribe. But if you want something that came out today, you should also check out the shorts, because we have things like builds on there. I'm noticing the qualified teams to Worlds that are already on there, but also very specifically from some interviews that we ran, and we asked a bunch of the players. You're going to see them, but a short that's been thrown up that is FineOk's thoughts on the Drade Dragons. So make sure that you get out there, watch on YouTube.com/SmitePro. Make sure that you subscribe for all of that fantastic Smite Pro content, behind the scenes content and interviews, things like that. And leave nice comments, because all of our video editors work really, really, really hard on making this stuff for you guys. And so thank you all for going over there. Thank you to Inbound for hanging out with me, and I guess thank you to the Wardens. Is that, I don't know, is that appropriate for winning the game? It's congratulations is usually what you say.
And thank you for winning the game. But looking at how they won the game, this Raijin's got to go. Nog is doing way too much damage on it. He's way too safe, and he really just knows how to pilot this just to perfection. I think that is where I'm looking at for their comp specifically. And yes, Slash got a lot of kills. That's what Thanatos does. But he's not putting out that much damage. He's kind of just cleaning up these low health targets, which are coming from a lot of Nog's damage and a lot of Delnny's damage. But you're not really banning a Kukulkan, are you? Not really. So let's ban this Raijin. Let's get rid of it. Let's find something else to put Nog on. Or take the first side, or take first pick away the Raijin. Because so far, whenever I see Nog on this Raijin, very rarely do I see a mistake made. And I think it comes down to a couple things where Raijin's ease of play is very, very low. Like, to have a good game with Raijin, all you have to do is wait for your supports to CC. And then you also have the safety on top of it, and you have a lot of CC. And I think that character has just been my point of contention of these two teams in this game. I don't want to see Raijin for the Wardens anymore.
Yeah, you got to get rid of it. You got to control that. Also, I have to say this, just out of what we have seen, and that one admittedly ends at a triple. Yeah, almost a quadra. But just before that, we watched the quadra. 9, 3, and 5 for Slash, as you had mentioned, getting a lot of those kills. 4, 0, and 7 for Nog with 30,000 damage.
Crazy.
Double what Slash was able to put out. The thing that catches my eye, though, we've had so many quadra kills this tournament, and like nobody's been able to get that last one. Not everyone's been on the same page, or at least able to get them all funneled to the right guy. So close, but still so far away in this last one. Delnyyy, a fantastic job. Everybody on the Wardens plays well in order to get there, but you nailed it, right? When you look at what Delnny's doing in terms of creating space, what Nog is doing in terms of damage numbers, and then what Slash is doing in terms of damage potential and kill potential, all of that coalesced into a very victorious Wardens. Now the question really is, how can the Storm answer back? And I agree with you up front, which is picks and bans. First and foremost, you got to change something. We'll figure it out here as we jump into game 2 of these two teams. Storm this time will be first pick, so being able to switch that up, like you said, that's already a big thumbs up from Inbound.
Yeah, and like I said, this Raijin is a problem. That can be a pick, though. It doesn't have to be a ban. It's just something you want to get on your side. And I also think, since you are on this first side, a lot of those times we can talk about those throwaway bans from the first ban side. Do we ban the Maui? That's the god that ELLEON's played near as much as he could. The Slash Thanatos is another thing. They've already banned that Thanatos. Opposite side, Aphrodite, Athena. And Raijin is banned.
I actually really like the way they approach these as well, because you get the Thanatos, the Thoth, the Raijin. You force them to ban the Kukulkan. Chernobog was still available, which is where I was maybe thinking we were going to go instantly, but instead it's Thor for the Storm. And you know what? They took first pick. They've got their own imagination. But it's Cherno and Maui on the other side. And Inbound, you probably, well, you did call one of them. You guaranteed would have called the other.
Yeah. Again, it's just, it seems like the prio that the Wardens have on their characters just seems so much more correct in terms of how they've done this weekend, I think is the best way to say it. I think this Chernobog has seen a lot of value. Maui, while coming into the weekend, maybe not that high tier. But from what we've seen, he has dominated a lot of these games. Ganesha's been fine. The Tsukuyomi's been good. I actually think, again, Tegveer looked good on the Tsukuyomi. But that Kukulkan really mitigated a lot of what he wanted to do, and I liked how Delnyyy played this Kukulkan. Now, the question is for me to ask the Wardens, who are you going to jungle with? Because a lot of the times they do this, they don't have enough damage to kill a lot of people. They have Slash clean up with the Thanatos. Now, who is he going to clean up with? Maybe Rat? Rat is basically what I'm saying. I want to see them go with the Rat.
I like maybe Rat, and I could see like your brain was going through the assassins, and it's like, yeah, no, probably
it's
just
like Rat Thor, but they already had Thor on the other side, so it's like, okay, Rat.
So I guess I'll ask this question: does Camazotz get the same job done?
Kind of. He's a lot closer to Thanatos than Rat is, but I just like Rat's ability to play the map outside of just kind of getting last hits, kind of like Cam and Thana do, because you have that CC, you have that early game strength, and you have that half global. So I think the Cam is fine, kind of what you wanted it to do. It's a good cleanup god, but I think I'd prefer just a little bit more hard CC.
I'm also excited to see Tsukuyomi Thor on the same squad here for the Storm, which both can jungle, both can solo, as we have seen. So there's a little bit of flex over there. Although you had mentioned this last time, but Tegveer has gone to this Tsukuyomi.
He loves it
quite a few times, and he looked good on it yesterday too. So we'll have to figure out where those are going. And there's a Janus in mid, something else to keep your eyes open for. But the Storm, they've got their work cut out if they want to try to qualify here. They need to win 2 in a row. We'll find out if they can get the first one with our casters.
Xibalba Storm have got to pull out all the stops here in game number 2 to try and hold back the Kaolin Wardens and take us to a game number 3. Or can the Kaolin Wardens pull this one through and find themselves a 2-0? Remember, every one of our games yesterday, Spooky, went the full distance. We went the full 3 games. This is our first 2-0 that we've had in quite some time, at least in our first set of the day. We'll see the Kaolin Wardens can repeat that here in our second set and be that first team to qualify to the SWC qualifiers. Bit of a rough start over here for Delnyyy and nnog. Not really able to clear out that campus efficiently. Going to be a bit difficult. Fighting into the early game now over into that solo lane more than anything else. But again, the emphasis on this game for the Kaolin Wardens is qualifiers on the line. Win this game, you go to the group stage, you play with the SPL teams to try and get up to the world stage. You join the EU counterparts as well. We've already had Solar Scares and Hex Mambo qualify. And this matchup will send our first NA team to that point. One, two. Xibalba Storm. Seeing what they can do. See if maybe they can get some pressure. Actually, Slash has already made his rotation over towards the shield buff, seeing what he's able to get going for himself. It doesn't look like he's going to get active over in the duo lane just yet. Instead, he's going to clear out the buff, get that extra farm, and try and get to that start that the Kaolin Wardens had previously. Because, I mean, you look back at game number 1, it was all established by Slash, making sure to get that early kill in the duo lane to really be able to help out nnog and put Globe down. But now for the Xibalba Storm, you got to look at this team, and you got to see at least what it is to see if they can slow down the Kaolin Wardens, find that success for themselves. And we've been seeing a lot of Janus so far this tournament, Spooky, and almost every single time this Janus has popped in, it has been terrifying to watch what players have been able to do on the pick.
It's just that one-shot potential that he has. He can pop up from just about anywhere, and even if he's not popping up around the corner, he can still throw the through space and time from the mid lane and delete your health bar in the duo lane. It's just so unpredictable, and you have so much versatility in what you could do on it. Shipiigami takes a little bit of damage, but the real action over here on this right side, Delnyyy eating a lot of it.
So low, but no ultimate available for Globe yet to try and go for that long-range snipe on the Janus. So for now, Delnyyy at least be banking on the fact that he's safe for the time, but he's stepping up to this blue buff while the mid laners have a bit of a scuffle. Wall gets some damage, but blue buff actually secured by Kaolin Warden, so even despite the double assassin of the Storm, it's not enough to steal the buff away.
Yeah, they're still okay over there for right now. Really, this is the answer I think the Storm does need. They need to be aggressive against the Wardens. They can't let them just run the early game like they did in game 1. Granted, it was consistently close throughout that match, but the Wardens were able to get to a certain point where they take one objective away, they take one fight, and it snowballs from there. The Storm cannot allow that to happen. They cannot be bystanders watching the Wardens farm up anymore. They need to find themselves an actual position in this game. I like the steps they've taken towards that. Ratmilk on the Thor is iconic. This is one of his best gods. So putting him down on it in game 2, best of 3, this is a do or die situation for the Storm. This is where you pull stuff like this out. I think it's a very good matchup into a lot of what the Wardens have right now. Granted, it wasn't a counter pick, it was a first pick, but it works out pretty well for them. What I'm really looking forward to seeing is how GIobe and Ratmilk combine these two ultimates, because we've seen time and time again that this mid-jungle duo is one of the standout points for the Xibalba Storm. This is what they play through. You get them on the same page, fighting just like this, you're in a good spot, but Ratmilk takes a lot of damage.
Nearly taken down. nnog misses the damage, misses the sigil afterwards. Ratmilk able to bob and weave his way out of the fight, and now it's ultimate for Hapn to try and lock down ELLEON. They catch him on the edge of the Dharmic pillars and take him down. First blood goes over to the Xibalba Storm, and getting the pick onto ELLEON. Probably the perfect target for Xibalba Storm to knock down, because when you look at the early game of last time around in game number 1, it was all off the back of ELLEON's aggression on this Maui.
Yeah, watching where the fights were breaking out, I can confidently say that dual lane wasn't where I was expecting the first blood to kill to come through in this moment, but I love the answer from the Storm. They find themselves a good kill onto ELLEON. If they could do that maybe 1-2 more times, they found themselves a good position. You have to be able to punish ELLEON for stepping so far forward. GIobe on this Janus just kind of gets to ignore what he does there. Walking through walls should be able to limit a lot of the effectiveness of this Maui. J-Mac, this fight just does not stop here.
Tegveer used the ultimate just for a bit of damage help, but now forced under the tier 1 tower. Landfall will pull back the corpse at that point. ELLEON with the kill, this time through Kaolin Wardens, able to answer back to the Xibalba Storm. But that's a 4-man rotation to stop the 2-man invade, which again did not work for Ratmilk and Tegveer. Again, they were not able to steal the buff away. They come up empty-handed, and this time it cost Tegveer not only his beads, but his life in return.
I mean, that's just kind of what you have to do when you're getting invaded. If someone's sending 2 people to you, all right, just send more bodies. ELLEON had just died, so he's just coming out of base. So he says, you know what? I'm in a perfect position to make this rotation anyway. I might as well just go over and make sure we get our blue buff. And heck, we'll get a kill for the trouble too. Tegveer, now in a very vulnerable position. No ultimate, no beads, so no CC immunity whatsoever available for the Tsukuyomi. Delnyyy has a good window here where he can just bully Tegveer around, but he's taking the worst end of this damage. That is not a great look for him. Be able to burn the ultimate, not find a whole lot of value off of it. The Wardens still looking for an opportunity to fight back. Struggling to find it outside of these invade answers.
Juicy Hapn, low HP, so is Slash though. Now gets there, and ultimate from the Janus is good. GIobe nearly gets 1 kill. A dunk in from Ratmilk will land on ELLEON, but a fast blink from Slash out of the bat out of hell gets him out of safety, and the hammer is too far away, but through the portal falls to the death for ELLEON. GIobe on the Janus all the way across the map, and Hapn tries to go for that Dharmic pillar, but Slash a bit quicker on the trigger this time, able to jump away to safety.
He really wants his Ganesha kill. It's the second time he's gone real deep trying to find it. Unfortunate for him, he doesn't quite get there. Dharmic Pillar is now on a cooldown. This is a nice look for the Storm. They're really fighting back into the Wardens a lot more effectively. The grouping has been coming through, and it's partially due to the ultimates from GIobe and Ratmilk. Their ability to navigate this map so quickly is so much better than it was in game 1. So this aggressive playstyle from the Wardens, where they like to start sending the jungler over, start grouping up, and try to get these snowball kills, isn't working as effectively because it's so much easier to answer this time around. GIobe giving ELLEON a little run around. And to what you were saying earlier, ELLEON has now fallen twice in this match, J-Mac. He's still playing just as aggressively as before. Hasn't fallen too far behind in gold or XP just yet. But if he continues playing like this, he continues getting punished for it, he may find himself in a bad spot sooner than later.
ELLEON slipping around the backside of the blue buff. And an invade this time from the Kaolin Wardens. This one does manage to be successful for that team, so we will see. At least if the Xibalba Storm can try and get some answer back, as their 2 kills and not netted them much of a lead right now. GIobe on the Janus is the one I'm keeping eyes out for. ELLEON actually does manage to fall down through the portal. Great placement there by GIobe. Let's keep some CC and some pressure up onto the enemy support. Shichigami with the ultimate pulls beads from Tubahh and a good chunk of his HP. But being a Chernobog does mean that he can at least come back a little bit faster than some of the rest of them. Happened through the portal from GIobe, but Nog with the damage onto both the mid and the support. Ultimate clipping 2. Landfall pulls Hapn against the wall, but there's no further follow-up from the Xibalba Storm or from the Kaolin Wardens for the fight.
Excellent positioning from Hapn there. Was aware that ELLEON was looking to try to get him. Just puts himself right by a wall, says, okay, you can try to pull me, but it's not going to take me anywhere. So the Wardens put a lot of effort down. Don't find a whole lot for it. 2 ultimates expended. Has some safety away from Nog as well, which I think is the biggest piece to take away from that whole exchange. Ratmilk and GIobe both still have ultimates available. If I'm the Storm, I'm looking for a chance to now put Nog into the dirt because he was such an important factor throughout game number 1, pumping out so much damage from such safety. This Morning Le Fay has a similar role, right? She can stand over these walls, drop these AoE fears, dropping CC damage. So if you want to take her out, if you want a good opportunity to kill this Morning Le Fay, you have to do it. She has less access to CC immunity. Bead's still available. Ultimate being down means a lot less survivability. I'd love to see a rotation come through. See if they can't try to get GIobe an advantage so he can start building a lead and then take it across the map a little bit more effectively.
I think the one thing that I'm really looking forward, or looking for, I should say more than anything, from Tubahh, specifically on this Chernobog late game, is to actually utilize some of that split put pressure we always talk about that this god is so capable of. You go over to one side of the map when your team's grouping up for Fire Giant, you leave those 4 there, you send a Chernobog, and it's usually forces the hand of somebody on the opposite side to answer to it. You either send your solo laner if there's a teleport or somebody with some sort of semblance of global or semi-global to try and deal with it, and really let this Chernobog try and get so much value from that split push potential. And then all he has to do is ult, jump in the team fight, and now the 5v4 that the enemy team had now flips its side, and now it's 5v4 for your team. But haven't really seen a whole lot of that this weekend, so I'll be keeping close eyes on Tubahh if he ever gets an opportunity to even try it out, just because how much Shichigami has put some pressure on him. Ult pulls beads earlier on, and now another 75% of his health taken away. Speaking of that ultimate, Tubahh used it to get back to lane, but not really going to go for a fight just yet against Shichigami.
Yeah, Tubahh definitely not looking to take many 1v1s against Shichigami right now. She's got the Dev Gloves and the Executioner online, but Shinigami's opted for the Aussie, and this is something we've seen him do quite a lot. He likes taking these 1v1s, and so he builds the Aussie to help him take the early trades. I don't think Tubahh's too favored in those right now, especially when Shinigami piloting an Ishtar is very good at winning those 1v1s. Instead, just has to kind of play safe. Maybe look for an opportunity to catch Shichigami out with ELLEON. It's just going to be zoning for the shield buff right now. That might start a small skirmish. I mean, keep an eye out. Nog is rotating that way alongside slaaaaaasH. But seeing the shield buff go down, it looks like we're just looking at the beacon for now. The Wardens do have position around it. They're here first. Storm stepping forward. They've got Dharmic Pillars online. They've got Ratmilk and his ult. Might not be the easiest, but they're not actually going to put any pressure towards it. Storm, once again, just letting that one go and leaving Hapn by himself.
Does have downward pillars. Big ultimate from GIobe. Just clip ELLEON. And the ultimate from the landfall is going to get nothing this time. ELLEON now stuck inside the Dharmic Pillars, and he'll go down to Ratmilk. A turnaround for the Xibalba Storm, and GIobe, he blinks to the back line just to go for a kill. Trades out 1-for-1, but gives the power move anyway. Xibalba Storm, a 2-for-1 trade at the beacon.
Matt, you lose the beacon, you pick up 2 kills. That's great. Trading out GIobe, not who I'd like to see go down in that one. At that point, you might as well just let Hapn dive forward, but GIobe's the one with the blink, so he's the one that goes in and picks it up. A little bit of an ego check for GIobe onto slaaaaaasH there. Say, okay, you know, you can get your quadra kills, but they're not going to let that make them afraid of this jungler. An excellent bait from the Storm, though. It looked like they were just giving an objective up for free and leaving Hapn by himself. They trust him. They know how much damage he can take. And as soon as the Wardens step forward, this is a through space and time, straight through the wall, eats through those health bars. That's the kind of sneaky plays that this Janus really affords them. I want to circle back a little bit to what you're talking about with Tubahh on this Chernobog split pushing. I think it might be a little bit difficult for them to find a lot of value on that. And it's because of this Janus. They do have the option, the Storm is, to send him over, answer the split push, just clear out waves very quickly. And if he needs to, send it through space and time and cover half the map in an incredibly short amount of time. And it really shortens the window that the Wardens have to make aggressive plays on that. Because the Storm have this tool available to them, they can step a little bit further back and feel comfortable knowing the Wardens can't just have Tubahh ult over and start something up. They've got so much room to play with now that it's really the Wardens on the back foot at this stage of the game. They have a slight gold lead, but they're down in kills and they're down on map pressure.
We did manage to see once more Tubahh using the ultimate, but immediately went up into the sky and right back down, just using the ultimate for that global vision and for that slow onto every single member of the Xibalba Storm. We did start to see a group up of the Storm around this Gold Fury. Lead is slightly in favor of the Kaolin Wardens for now, only to the tune of about 1,000 gold. We haven't really seen action from the Soul Laners. I mean, you look at game number 1, that first beacon spawn at 12 minutes, that second beacon pop in, we got all 10 players on the map grouped around that mid lane. That last beacon just kind of felt like, whoever's available, just kind of walk over, step your toe in a little bit, see what we can do. Can't get anything? Okay, cool, no problem. So, complete inverse of game number 1, where it felt like so much emphasis was towards these beacons, so much towards this mid laner. Nog in danger in the middle of 2 of the sky. Goes Ratmilk looking for a crash target back down. Shell has been used to try and keep Nog alive. Globe able to portal away to safety. Nearly could have been bad for Nog, but great use of relics from him and his team keep him alive.
Excellent work there. And Ratmilk survives as well, gets up into the ultimate in time so he doesn't fall down. But the real problem is that Nog also survives that whole exchange. That was a 2v1. Globe and Ratmilk walked up to the Morgan Le Fay, said, hey, we want you to die. And all Nogs did was say, no. And so he doesn't. The rest of the Wardens show up, pull the aggression away. So Globe ends up losing out on the beads, and all Nog trades is the Aegis and the ultimate. Storm is really struggling to find success in this mid lane, it feels like. The safety from the Morgan Le Fay and the grouping from the Wardens is just not affording them any opportunity. They've gotten themselves some nice kills, but as we mentioned, they're down in gold. They're not farming as effectively as the Wardens are. They're losing out on things like the shield buff, on those mid-heartbeat camps, and indeed they've lost their blue buff a couple times and haven't been able to return the favor. Wardens are pretty comfortable playing this one at the current pace. Chernobog late game is an incredibly potent ADC, as is the Morgan Le Fay in the mid lane. So if this goes long, they're perfectly fine with that. All they need is this small lead to carry them through it. If it goes into late game at parity, I'd say they have a slight advantage on that.
Let's see the Xibalba Storm trying to fight back. Globe has been doing his best to be active on this Janus. Been all over the place, but is being outpaced in farm, which is unusual for a Janus. Usually, when you're talking about Januses and the players who really love to pilot that pick, they're usually 1, maybe sometimes even 2 levels ahead, with even if they don't have a kill up against their enemy mid laner, just because of how mobile this god is. I mean, the ability to walk through entire sections of the map with the use of that portal, using him such great access to farm. But it's been Nog and Slash really controlling the neutral farm. Beacon does go to the Xibalba Storm. Ratmilk going for the fight up against Tubahh, half the HP on the Chernobog, and Ratmilk still holding on to ultimate as well. Might not even need it. The rest of the team is on the way. Globe's got an ultimate, but won't fire that one off. Surprised you didn't see it through space and time fired, just to get the rest of the team there in an instant. Instead, Xibalba Storm pushing the Hunter back.
Probably recognizing the grouping from the Kaolin Wardens as well. They probably could have just dumped all of the Storm over onto Tubahh and gotten the kill. Question is, how do they get out after that? Wow, damage like that. I think you don't need to. But it would have placed them very close to that tier 1 tower. That would have been an extra source of damage coming through, and the Wardens would have been following up. So instead, hold on to those health bars. Look at this Gold Fury instead. Ratmilk up in the sky.
Watch out for Delnyyy. He's found 2 to the back line. Nog in danger. Does have access to the egg as the beads are down, and so is GIobe. But it's a double in the back line for the Kaolin Wardens. They've torn this fight right open, and even Tegveer can't get anything done. That's 3 now for the Kaolin Wardens in the team fight, and Delnyyy is going to keep the other 2 busy, keeping Hapn specifically out of that team fight. Goes from bad to worse. The dunk to the back from Ratmilk. He gets absolutely blown up, and now it's the Kaolin Wardens picking up a Gold Fury on top of that. A 4,000 gold lead for the Chaos team.
It feels like Delnyyy has come into this with a single mission, and that's to bring Kukulkan back into the meta. He's consistently creating so much space for his team, simply wraps around the outside of that Gold Fury pit, walks toward the storm and says, hey guys, do you like having your feet on the ground? Too bad, here's an AoE knockup. And at the same time he's doing that, Ratmilk is dunking down into the backline of the Wardens. The difference is that Delnyyy is level 17, man. He's tanky. He's putting out a lot of disruption on that. Ratmilk, not as tanky, gets feared, blown up in an instant. Tegveer's trying to help out back there, but he's just one guy at that point. Delnyyy is just creating too many problems for the Storm. It was said on the desk, the question was posed, do you really ban out a Kukulkan? Maybe if you're playing against Delnyyy, you do, because he is piling it phenomenally.
Really haven't seen too much from GIobe since the beginning of the game. It felt like the blink kill in the mid lane that nets him his second one into instant death really has kind of hindered the pacing of the Xibalba Storm and their mid laner GIobe. I'd love to see him act more like this solo agent style that we're so known for seeing out of Janus players. Is I'm not going to be a part of the actual fight. I'm going to be the one sneaking all the way around the left side of a map, all the way to the opposite side of a jungle just to try and get to the back line, take out that one person. And so far, GIobe is just falling further and further behind. 3 levels down to the mid laner. Ultimate used to try and get back in. Some good damage on the nnog and ELLEON. Dunk from Ratmilk. Won't find anybody, but it's nnog out of position, and nnog taken down. Ratmilk with 1. And the Xibalba Storm had backed away for the time being, but with Shiπigami on the way, could be the call from the Storm to try and keep this fight going a bit longer.
That is the first death for Nog, and I'm surprised that Nog falls, because the only reason this Morgan Le Fay died is because when he went to the ultimate, he started stepping forward towards the Storm. If he pulled back with his team, he probably survives that one. Maybe a miscommunication between the team members there, weren't on the same page on whether they wanted to fight or not. But at the end of the fight, Storm don't really get a whole lot off of this. They'll be able to pick up this tier 1 tower on the left side, but that's just Shiπigami not even interacting with the fight in mid. Fire Giant is up, but it's not enough shred here to take that down because Shiπigami's taking a tier 1 tower, which I do like that call. You need that gold in your pockets. You're 6,000 down. You have to get something on the map to bring yourselves back up. And with that kind of deficit, even a 5v4 around the Fire Giant is a little bit risky. With it not being enhanced, there's no reason to go straight to it right now. Instead, the Storm simply take their small win, get their farm, take off one small objective at the very least. That's gold that won't be respawning and opens up the map for them a little bit more. Might see some purple buff invades coming out from Shiπigami now that he's got that little bit of extra safety to play with. But in my mind, the question has to be going towards the Pyromancer, towards the Fire Giant. This right side of the map is really where a lot of focus is going to start shifting towards, and somewhere now at the 22-minute mark.
We do have the 3rd beacon about to spawn in. That wouldn't happen. Gonna have the old, fun, casual support style play with, well, we're the only 2 here. Might as well get a little bit of extra player damage for ourselves. Might as well farm up a little bit for each other, but immediately gonna disperse once the mid laners start to show their face around. Nog at level 20 and already has an upgraded starter item at that.
Jeez.
Against GIobe, only level 19. Able to catch back up a little bit. Was level 17 before going into that last team fight in mid. Gets there, immediately picks up 1 kill and a level for himself. And now we already see the Kaolin Wardens. They'll cap the beacon. No contest whatsoever from Xibalba Storm. The Titans will march up mid once more, but we now have the Primal Fury spawning back in. Pyromancer shortly after. I wonder if we see the Kaolin Wardens try and get aggressive around these objectives. They still have that 4,000 gold lead. I'm surprised they're not playing with it as much as the lead that they have at this point.
So far, they've been able to just bait the Storm into fights around these objectives. They haven't had to get aggressive because the Storm are still stepping up to them, and they've been losing those fights. The Wardens built this lead by just counter-engaging and kind of destroying the backline of the Storm every time the dive tries to start up. So go ahead and take that Primal Fury down. The Storm are looking at the Pyromancer. Delnyyy and nnog are in the area. The rest of the Wardens shifting over. Not enough shred to burn it down.
In fact, I think GIobe was holding onto abilities for secure. Now might come back to bite them. Landfall doesn't pull anybody. Delnyyy gets stunned to the backline before he can get anything done. Does get the transformation, but he's already half health and forced away. Darby Pillars and Ratmilk to the backline, nearly taken down. He's living on just a health bar, but now he is gone. It's Tubahh with 1 kill. Low health for a lot of the members. GIobe jumped on by slaaaaaasH. That's 2 now for the Kaolin Wardens. They've only traded ELLEON, making a double kill for the jungler, and 3. Triple kill for slaaaaaasH. And go ahead and give him a 4th. No, nnog gonna take that one away. D aside for the Kaolin Wardens. And now they can push up this Titan and get some damage done on the map.
Man, this is just so rough for the Storm. They keep trying to start these fights off. They keep sending Ratmilk and Tegveer into the back line, trying to dunk down and get the damage done. But they're taking so much in return so quickly that every time Ratmilk goes in, he has to immediately pop Aegis, pop beads, and try to hammer himself back out of danger. And at that point, he's too low to be a factor in the rest of the fight. Sure, Delnyyy gets shredded, loses half his health bar. Guess who's still standing by the end of that fight? It is Delnyyy, because he simply goes back to his team, sees Ratmilk is back there, says, okay, well, what if I just stun you instead? Ratmilk has to disengage, and all this time is just creating the opportunity for slaaaaaasH to do what he did perfectly in game number 1. Wrap around the back, find those low health targets, GIobe's isolated, take him out first. He just snowballs the fights from there. The Wardens do the front end of the work, and slaaaaaasH does the back end.
Now nearly 8,000 gold up for the Kaolin Wardens as they start grouping up for Fire Giant. Hapn walks forward, gets spotted out. All ultimates online. Low relic count for both of these teams. Only a couple sets of beads for the Wardens and the Aegis. For Tubahh, opposite side, it's just 2 sets of beads and a bracer from the support of Hapn. Pyromancer does go to the Kaolin Wardens. And now 2 runic bombs in pockets for the Chaos team. So decent secure now around this Fire Giant, should they choose to go towards it. But I think you're right to highlight Delnyyy on this Kukulkan. Feels like he's trying to single-handedly bring this guy back in the meta. And after the performance he's had in just game number 1 and what we've seen so far in game 2, I'm willing to believe it, man. These multi-man ultimates where he just jumps in, hits 2-3 people with the knock-up, gets that quick transformation. It's made it so tough for the Xibalba Storm to really stand up for any of these team fights. Speaking of damage, GIobe taking a whole lot of it.
Man.
He's got the ultimate, so he'll be able to bail it out through the wall, but he's just taking so much poke. The Kaolin Wardens are doing a great job keeping GIobe in check.
And now that ultimate being down means that he's not going to get back to this fight nearly as quickly. Tubahh has already expended the Living Nightmares. He's not going to be rotating over, but wow, that's a 2-man knockup.
And pulled back 2. Darby Pillars used by Hapn to try and disengage the fight, but man, when you get a full damage Morgan Le Fay, look what nnog is able to put up on the charts. Delnyyy with a double root ultimate only onto Tegveer this time, but Tegveer is so low, he's going to go back in with a Piercing Moonlight. All of it Aegis out by nnog. Ratmilk dunks down, does find the mid laner, but it's a transformed ultimate, and a trade out nearly done. Ratmilk able to take down the mid laner of the Kaolin Wardens. Use this Aegis. Hapn is there to bail him out. ELLEON cannot get the finishing touch to be able to take that one down. And now it's Tegveer low. Beads used by him. Relic starting to run thin on both sides once more. Delnyyy brought back to ELLEON, but Shippigami, he's full HP. He can charge right back in if he wants to. Nobody is standing up to the Hunter of the Storm. And again, it's only barely that slaaaaaasH is able to get through the bubble back to ELLEON.
Now, at the end of the day, at the end of the fight, it's a 1-for-0, J-Mac, if you can believe that. Nnog, the only one falling. Lots of relics burned through that entire exchange. At the end of it, Storm has a slight advantage. They've got a 5v4 for the next 10 seconds here. They want to step up to this Fire Giant. They have Shippigami. They have the shred for it. Look at all the vision that the Wardens have down. They have a perfect sight on what's happening around this pit. I don't think they're going to let this one go too quietly here. Already on their way back in.
Fire Giant at half. Remember, 2 runic bombs to the Wardens. It's Ratmilk in the sky, but where is his target? It's got to be Tubahh, but Tubahh is baiting out the wall. He goes up to the sky, so Ratmilk has to choose over to Slash, but Slash jumps over the ultimate. Half HP on Slash. He's got Bat of Hell. He'll have to use it. Piercing Moonlight does clip through a couple of players, and it puts Tegveer right to the back line, and that sends Globe with them. Tubahh uses Agents. He's barely alive, but Nog takes down one. Tubahh low. Tubahh gone. Shi'igami trades out a 1-for-1. Leon wants a bit more, but he can't find anybody with the landfall this time. 1-for-1 trade again. This time it's Ratmilk going down for Tubahh.
Much better trade for the Wardens. Still favors the Storm. And I say better for the Wardens just because the last one was a 1-for-0. So anything you get in return is better by that metric. Tubahh going down, though, there's a lot less fight. Ratmilk being down for the Storm means there's probably not too much more fighting happening over the Fire Giant until both these players are back up on the board. Delnyyy not quite able to find the disruption he was looking for in that last fight. And as a result, it goes much better for the Storm. Tegveer able to put some damage down range and actually get onto a priority target. When the Storm can get to Tubahh and Nog, they have a good fight going for them. It's just been that the problem is they cannot reach those targets. It becomes so difficult for them to do so. Ratmilk finally has an opportunity to land on someone and not instantly die. Still, this game is far from over. It's still incredibly close. Despite the gold lead, the Storm are fighting back very effectively. Like, if you are 9,000 gold behind, you shouldn't be taking 1-for-1 trades and walking out feeling pretty good about that. The Wardens, by all metrics, should just be rolling over the Storm. There's a bit of hesitancy, it feels like. They're not quite ready to push the gas all the way down and find these dives. Trying to still bait the Storm forward, and that's giving the Storm time to farm up and try to claw their way back to an even footing.
Delnyyy to the back, triple ultimate, but he gets stopped by Hapn in place, and Shi'igami's out putting too much damage. Landfall finds nothing, and it's Tegveer to try and close out the kill on Delnyyy. Ratmilk, a dunk to the sky, but he's got no targets on landing. He gets turned and burned instead. 1-for-1, but Globe trades out for a second one of his own now. Globe gonna try and keep the push going. Portal through the wall. Dash away for one, but Slash is low. Leon is low. Tegveer's just gonna keep up the chase. It's 3 alive on the Kaolin Wardens, and the Xibalba Storm are just controlling these fights. They're getting separated from the rest of them. ELLEON's pathing has been cut off, and Globe is gonna try and close in. He wants the damage. He blinks in. He gets the Aegis away from Nog, and Slash gonna get a bit of damage in return. Still low health bars for a few on the Wardens, but the Xibalba Storm, they're not going to let him go back to base so easily.
Man, Nog is just putting up so much pressure by not being with Slash and ELLEON, hanging back by that wall. The Storm was aware of it. You saw him get pinged out there, but the mere fact that he was standing there meant they couldn't commit to aggressing onto Slash and ELLEON. They could not finish off those kills, because if they tried to go too much deeper, they were going to eat a big burst of damage, get feared, and possibly cleaned up as well. Wardens lose a fight, but it's no mistake there. They did not win that or even come out even. The Storm have finally seemed to have found a path to success. They're waiting for Delnyyy to come on in and then just turning everything they have to burn him down. The success was coming by catching the Storm off guard. Well, now that guard is fully up, and it's not dropping anytime soon. The Wardens have to switch things up now, find a different way to get Delnyyy active. Maybe have Slash start these fights off. Try to find a fear with Nog. Either way, Fire Giant being burned.
Fire started. No crit for Shi'igami means this fire's going a lot slower than the Xibalba Storm may have hoped for. Instead, they're going to pull away from it. Shi'igami goes for the ultimate. It finds 2. Delnyyy and Slash hit by it. Ratmilk in the sky. Who is his dunk target on? It's right on top of Tubahh, and Nog gets the relics away from the carry and gets the health away from the mid. Ratmilk gets 1 and nearly taken out, able to hammer out and out Slash in the middle of 2. Tegveer gonna stun him out and let the rest of the team close in the gap. It's Globe to knock him away. The Xibalba Storm, they don't care about a 9,000 goldie for the Kaolin Wardens. That's not enough to stop the Xibalba Storm. They go right back to fire.
Man, how is this even happening? Warden's still alive, still looking for the fight. Tegveer push him away, but Delnyyy has to step back. Fire Giant still alive. Tegveer very low. I don't think they can commit to this Fire Giant any further. The Wardens, once again, they lose a fight. but they've held on to enough and put enough damage downrange that the Storm cannot claim their prize. Now we're past 30 minutes here, J-Mac. This is the enhanced Fire Giant. This is a big one to kill, takes some time, takes a lot of work. But once you get it, oh man, the game starts to look pretty easy when you have 5 people with an EFG. The Wardens, they want this one. They're not going to give it up.
ELLEON, half HP, down, he gets to the backline, but he gets stopped instantly by Hapn. Before he can do the ultimate off, he's at half HP as Ratmilk has found ELLEON, and he's found Tubahh once more. Tegveer gets one. ELLEON tries to landfall, but it comes up empty-handed. Is now surrounded. The Dharmic Pillar slows him down. The ult from Shippigami stops him in his place, and it's Ratmilk to put him in the dirt. The Xibalba Storm with another double pick, this time taking out the duo of the Kaolin Wardens, and once more, Xibalba Storm head back to fire.
Tubahh is consistently the target for Ratmilk. He is just looking for this Chernobog in every exchange they have, and it's working. He has to keep doing it. If you can take the shred away from the Wardens, they just don't have much of a fight left in them. Tubahh has just under 15,000 player damage right now. And that's not because he's not in the fights. That's not because he doesn't know how to land basics. It's because Ratmilk is putting a priority target on his head and simply telling him, you don't get to play the game so long as I'm around. Warden's trying to keep him alive, but there's not a lot they can really do here. The best way to stop a Thor from killing your backline is to have a Ganesha on your team and silence him out. Well, guess what? The Ganesh is on the side of the Thor this time around. So the Wardens just kind of have to wait for Ratmilk to dunk down, dump his kit, and try to exchange the damage to kill him fast enough. That has not been working. Let's see if they can do it this time.
Again, Delnyyy tries to get to the back and loses so much of his health bar. Tegveer still holding on to his ult, and GIobe nearly killed. The damage from Fire Giant almost takes him down. And for the first time in what feels like 8 to 10 minutes, it's the Xibalba Storm on the back foot, and the Kaolin Wardens able to get aggressive on fire. They've got crit from their Hunter. This one's going to go a lot faster for them if left alone. Hapn holding on to ult. Same with GIobe. They've got the ability to get to the backline. They got the ability for kills. The friend's been popped, and GIobe launches the ultimate from long range. ELLEON goes in the sky, lands into the damage from the mid laner, but Shippigami is the one who's falling low and finally taken down by Tubahh. But it's Tegveer doing all the work on the side. Him and GIobe team up to take down the mid laner nnog, and now it's just ELLEON by himself. Might be the sacrificial lamb, but Hapn gives up his chase on it. It's only Ratmilk and Tegveer to chase him out. Shell used, but that shell only buys him an extra second. ELLEON knocked away by the Xibalba Storm, but it's still 3 of the Kaolin Wardens with enhanced fire.
And the one that matters the most, Tubahh, has that EFG. Anything he steps up to is going to melt. Again, it's still a good fight from the Storm, but they're not able to overcome the deficit that they were already at. We're mostly full build at this point. But it's Hapn still doesn't have it. Delnyyy gets active, looking to try to punish Hapn for stepping forward. Dharmic Pillars have to be used to peel away. Ratmilk, yeah, he's just getting out of there. He's not looking for anything other than a path to safety with that one. And this is what this kind of lead does for a team, J-Mac. When you're 9,000 gold up, okay, maybe you made a mistake. Guess what? You still have a massive lead. Okay, did you make another mistake? All right, your lead has shrunk, but you're still ahead. And that's basically what we just witnessed happen 3 times. Kaolin Wardens mess up a fight, lose it, reset back to base. They come back, they're still ahead. They mess that one up. Okay, reset, come back, we're still ahead. This time we got it right. This time we get the EFG. The lead just gives you so many opportunities to have 1 or 2 missteps and come back feeling okay afterwards. The Storm have done a phenomenal job of trying to take advantage of those missteps and force those situations. They just haven't been able to take it the rest of the way. And I think this lack of crit that you mentioned was a big portion of that. They had the opportunities to get on that Fire Giant. They had it half health a few times, but they didn't have the damage to finish it off. So the Wardens just come right back into things. EFG around 3, looking to sweep this tier 2 off the board. Probably looking at this right side Phoenix as well.
Kaolin Warden starting to group up. Slash off by himself. Xibalba Storm still picking up a decent defense? What just happened to slaaaaaasH? He was full HP a second ago. Ratmilk has removed him, and that gives an option now for the Storm to get to the pack line. But Tubahh, he's gonna ult into the middle of everybody else instead. Tegveer trying to take down Delnyyy, and he will fall.
Ouch.
Landfall. You might not have wanted to pull them towards you, ELLEON, because now it's a piercing moonlight from Tegveer to find Tubahh in the back line. Gets the beads away from the Chernobog. The crit is hitting pretty hard. Tubahh needs to be taken down by somebody, and who else but Ratmilk to crash into the party. Takes down the Hunter. It's only Nog and ELLEON left from the Kaolin Wardens. The bubble bails out Nog, but there's still 5 strong on the Xibalba Storm to close in. Wall just misses Nog this time, and now maybe Hapn can try and keep the party going for himself and the rest of the team.
They're going to try to run these 2 Wardens down. They've got some good distance, but the stun connects onto Nog finally. Knockback is good. They should be able to get out, but Shinigami's coming up to flank them.
Ratmilk finds another wall. Ultimate from Nog, but the damage from Shinigami's autos are hitting too hard. Leon on the good side of the wall. This time he's able to bail back to that right side Phoenix. But it's going to be a mid tier 2 tower for Xibalba Storm. Still 20 seconds till Tubahh's back up. 5 until Delnyyy is here. The Xibalba Storm, they hold firm on the left side tier 2. They didn't even need to put up an actual defense because it was a Ratmilk who got it going for the team. Ultimate from ELLEON. Just got to be off the mark this time. Doesn't pull anyone back with that landfall. And it's the Xibalba Storm, the team who was 9,000 gold down. They're the first ones to take a Phoenix.
So, you try 3 times to get the EFG. 3rd time's the charm. Congratulations, you've done it. You step forward to the tier 2 on the left side, and somehow you get absolutely no value out of that fire giant and lose your bird instead. This is a tough look for the Wardens. I don't even want to talk about the fact that they're still in 4,000 gold ahead, because it doesn't matter. The Xibalba Storm has fully caught up in the builds. The gold is absolutely irrelevant. Xibalba Storm are the ones in control of this game at this point, and it all starts because Ratmilk just finds slaaaaaasH in the jungle, says, "Oh, do you think you win this 1v1? You don't." Takes him out in like a second and just opens the gates for the rest of the Storm to move forward and get aggressive onto the Wardens. Delnyyy tries to buy some time for his team, but unfortunately, you're level 20, so is everyone else. At that point where you're taking damage from 3 or 4 people, you're not going to last long, no matter how many procs you've built. He just gets erased. And the Wardens fall 1 by 1. Now, they have to do it all over again. The Wardens coming in, looking for their chance with Leon. Dangerously low.
Nearly out. Ratmilk wants to try and finish the job. ELLEON used the landfall. As soon as he crashes back down, it's right into the hands of Ratmilk. Not able to get the kill just yet, but instead it's Tubahh or Tegveer who does instead. Piercing Moonlight secures one in a massive through space and time from Globe. But where can Tubahh even land? It's death at any given point. He decides to die to the hands of Shinigami instead. Xibalba Storm remove the dual lane once more. The Kaolin Wardens, and back to Fire Giant they go. Difference is for Shinigami this time, he's got that crit online. Another portal for Delnyyy. Not going to get a whole lot of damage on him this time through. The Xibalba Storm, they can go back to the Fire Giant. Low health bar on Ratmilk, but he's fine, just making sure to keep damage on the objective and find any stragglers on the Kaolin Wardens.
Nog is still here, still full health, ultimate available. Delnyyy goes in.
Shinigami able to backflip over one, but Nog takes him down and trade out. It's Ratmilk for an extra one. Delnyyy falling low, slash by himself off to the side, and Ratmilk and Globe team up once more. The mid 2v2 clean up the rest of the Kaolin Wardens. Ratmilk with the double kill. Minions pushing up mid, and still with 10 seconds till ELLEON, 15 to Tubahh. The Xibalba Storm not comfortable enough to try and go for the end. Instead, they'll just head right back to Fire Giant. Might take them a while to do it without Shinigami, but the D aside for the Xibalba Storm, the game is back to dead even.
This was a Globe call for the EFG there. You could see how badly he wanted it. The Storm thought about moving forward and ending, end up deciding against it, didn't want to risk trying to take the fight against ELLEON and Tubahh. Still 2 tier 2 standing, so Titan not the weakest right now, still a little bit healthier than you would otherwise normally expect. The Storm decided to play this one a little bit safer. They've been winning the fights, so why not? Why not go ahead and just secure yourself an objective? Look to clean this one up, you know, the proper way. Do a tower sweep, get those off the board. going to give the Wardens some time to take down the Oni Fury. Look how slow it is with just Tubahh and ELLEON. It takes so long for them to get that. And all it's really going to do is slow down the push from the Storms. They'll have to take a little bit longer to clear out those Onis. If they're playing this right, it won't stop them for very long. The Wardens are now in a position where they've completely dominated this game and are on the back foot. They have to defend at their Phoenix lines. There's good news and bad news to it, right? They're technically still ahead, so they have access to power pots and elixirs. They're not behind the Storm when it comes to power. They're definitely behind when it comes down to execution. Ratmilk has been a big problem. At this Phoenix defense, he's got access to an easy backline dive. Wardens have to be prepared to answer it and stop him from just deleting Tubahh in these fights.
nnog has to use his relics immediately. Ratmilk now to the sky. Where's the dunk target? Double landfall from ELLEON. Ratmilk's got to help close out this fight if he can, but GIobe takes down one. Ratmilk to the back. Nnog gone. Kill for Ratmilk. Unstoppable with 7 in a row. And he's going to keep this one going. Slash takes him out, but GIobe returns the favor. Double kill for the mid laner and still perfectly healthy. ELLEON buys himself an extra second with the CC, but it's Shiπigami with a double kill. Deicide for Xibalba Storm, and Spooky, we're going to a game number 3 in the winners finals.
This is why you just don't let Ratmilk have this Thor, J-Mac. He is an absolute monster on this pick. Is he the only one that dies in that fight? Sure. Did he also make sure that his team was going to win it by taking out nnog in the backline completely uncontested? Absolutely yes. Wardens just did not have an answer to this Thor. It was consistently Ratmilk dropping down onto these targets and just deleting them from the fight. Tegveer creates so much space and draws so much attention with the piercing moonlight. GIobe even is doing his own part, diving in, blinking forward, dropping the unstable vortex, and just says, okay, adios, I'm going through the wall now. And they think, okay, we've stopped the dive. Wait, where did nnog go? I swear he was right behind me on the Phoenix line.
Yeah, I mean, it took a little while before we got to see GIobe really play that true assassin style play in the Janus, but gets there in the end alongside with Ratmilk on the Thor. Great execution here from the Xibalba Storm. They tie up the set and they take us to a game number 3. The next game will send one team to the World's qualifiers. We're going to find that out and who it is right after this break.
explore this fantasy. I could take you higher than I know you want it. This is all I ask of you. Let me change your point of view. I could love you better than I know you want it.
I know that.
You want it, ooh. You want it, ooh, yeah. You want it, not just for a night. You want it for life, oh. You think about me when you're in the shower. When she's not around, she's beautiful, but I'm beautiful inside. You think about me like every other hour. When she's not around, you wanna know what it feels like to be mine. This is all I ask of you. Let me change your point of view. I could love you better than I know you want it. You know that you want it. You want it. You want it. You want it. Yeah, you want it. You want it. You want it. Ooh. You want it. Ooh, yeah. You want it. Not just for a night. You want it for life.
Well, it is all tied up here, and what would you expect from these teams that have fought so hard to get to this point already? And again, now we've got even more pressure maybe riding on the next game, right? You're talking about qualifying, going to the group stages for Worlds, a lot of pressure, and the Storm did not let that get to them in game number 2.
Yeah, and I know it's rather of a cliche way to say it where, oh, we played 2 games, now it's a best of 1. But it really is. Those first 2 games do not matter. You can take from like the meta that you've created in only those 2 games and kind of bring it into this 3rd game. But it doesn't matter who won the first one, who won the second one. We're going to this final game, and this is the only game that at the end of the day matters. And when you see what happened in game 2 comparatively to game 3, I think this Thor pick had a lot more value than anticipated by me, at least. When Ratmilk gets on a character that he can dictate the pacing of the game starting as early as possible, this team does seem a little bit more comfortable. Yes, they didn't really play that well early game, but Ratmilk looked really comfortable. Tegveer again on the Tsukuyomi looks really good. And GIobe on this Janus was putting in work in the late game and making it near impossible for the Wardens to either, if they did start winning a fight, continuously win it because of the good portals. And then also a lot of that chase down potential that I was kind of asking for with this, from SLAAASH's side of things. That was what GIobe did for the Storm side of things.
Yeah, being able, I mean, whenever you're playing Janus, you should be able to find some lockdown, but also the movement speed. Like, that's the thing that I really like to see is a player, when they're on a pick like that, utilizing a lot of the kit and like how fast Janus can really kind of zoom around and look, 9-4 and 14, it doesn't lie. They got the job done. 10-5, 13, 19 assists for Tegveer, 11 for Shiπigami with 8 kills, and then Hapn with 28 picked up. I mean, the Storm, it just feels like they figured out where to get their grip and held on tight to that game and to this set so far. And now that it's 1-1, again, like you said, one more game, and that's all you got to think about. Like you said, you can adapt in picks and bans, but when you get into the game, you just got to win one.
And you know how I want the Warden to adapt? Don't pick this Chernobog again. They didn't use the global well.
Yeah.
Tubahh did not look comfortable. And it seems like when he plays like the Rama, the Ishtar, I mean, even like the Hachiman, I think he looks way more comfortable. He gets a lot more damage off. He positions just a little bit better. And he just seems to be playing like an overall better game of SMITE. So Don't worry about the Chernobog. Yes, it's a strong character. It's going to stay a strong character. But if they're not going to pick it and you're not going to pick it, it's something you can either ban away or just let it go by and just pick something else. Because the Ishtar, which is something that's not got a ton of prio on it, was picked by Shippigami and he put up 50,000 damage. So don't worry about the Chernobog. Pass on it.
Pass on it or
Pass on it.
ban
Or
it
ban.
if you
Or ban.
need to. Well, they are going to be swapping over and be first pick here as we jump into game number 3. And so the question is going to be, what are they going to do with that Chernobog? Where are they going to let it go? Or is it just going to be banned out? In fact, you might even be able to wiggle around because while it didn't look great with it there, maybe the Storm are still concerned about it. Maybe they still go for a ban on it. It's all going to be revealed to us ever so shortly. Thor, Thoth. Do we have any other gods that have like a th at the beginning? Maybe they're
Thana.
going down. Thana, but it's not going to be Thana. Thana is on the other side. It's Chernobog who gets banned out here by the Warden. So if they can't play it, nobody's going to take it. You get rid of the Athena and the Maui that you had asked for, but it leaves open that Afro.
Yeah, that is for game 3. Like this is like win and you're in, lose and you got to play another set. Giving up that Aphrodite, which we've seen a lot of strength from, but I get it. Banning that Maui, it's something ELLEON looks really comfortable on. It makes sense. It's just a risky play to make, but I love the risk. On the opposite side, Storm locking on that Ganesha. They also get that Cuckoo, which that's I think the god that I'm focusing on. This Cuckoo has. I've changed my mind. That's the god I'm focused on. Raijin. Nog on Raijin is him.
How quickly that changed.
It was instant. It was instant.
Yeah, you were like, you know what, Kukulkan? Like, yeah, like you didn't even have the time to say the full name.
I didn't finish it. Yeah, I
by
said
the
Cuckoo.
time. Yeah, you got to say Cuckoo, and no other syllable could come out. Kukulkan locked in for the Storm, and in theory, a good pick. But we saw that Raijin in game 1, and it was, you had mentioned it. It wasn't necessarily, you know, I think we had the Thana on the side. You just need someone to clean it up.
Yep.
Because we know that this Raijin's going to just be pouring out damage.
And a bunch of available assassins still. I mean, the Rat you can go back to. I didn't love the Kama. It looked like he was, I don't want to say uncomfortable, but he didn't look as confident as he did in the Thana game. So maybe stay away from that Kama. Something else that can kind of pick up some kills. Dodgy Hover. I do like the Dodgy, especially with all the missed CC opportunities. Hunbots, Cuckoo, Ganesha, none of them have that CC immunity and ult. You don't have to worry about Cuckoo. Just let him farm over in his lane. And also, something that I kind of skipped over because I was so infatuated with this Raijin. We get the Ishtar for Tubahh, taking that away from Shippigami. So Shippigami goes for the Apollo.
And look, there was not too long ago, and by that I mean probably 2 months ago, maybe actually even longer, Apollo had some buffs, right?
Yep.
And I wanted, in my heart of hearts, to believe that meant Apollo was going to just take over and we were going to get to see. Not a soul played. He did not show up anywhere. We might have seen one game. I think he did play one during playoffs. But other than that, like, he just was not around and has not been there. So I'm excited to see what it can do. But I will say, since that change, my faith has definitely down spiraled in him. We'll have to see, is it going to be the thing the Storm need, or are the Wardens going to come back and seal the deal to go to group stages? The only way to find out is to go over to our casters.
Thank you so much, Gore. And inbound on the desk, it's J-Mac and Spooky back now with game number 3. Winner goes to the SWC group stage. Loser, not out of the tournament yet. Still one more chance for them to be able to fight back and take that 2nd seed spot to move up towards groups. So it all comes down to this. Kaolin Wardens and Xibalba Storm in a game 3 situation. We see Delnyyy, the Kukulkan, actually taken away from him. I think that's an important point that I would kind of want to start with here, Spooky, because it felt like Delnyyy kind of single-handedly was bringing this Kukulkan back in, really popped off with a game number 1, started off great game in game number 2, but then now Tegveer actually taking this pick away from him.
Yeah, that's actually a win for Delnyyy because he can now count this as mission accomplished. Someone else is now picking Kukulkan in the meta, so he got what he wanted there. I do like this adaptation, though. The Storm have recognized the Kukulkan has been a problem in the hands of Delnyyy. They don't want to put a ban towards it because there's just so many other things they have to worry about. So what do? Well, if they're not going to pick the Kukulkan on the side of the Wardens in their first 3, just take it away from them. Grab it for yourself and force the Wardens to make an adaptation. You're still going into the Warrior, and it does mean there's a lot of sustain on the side of the Wardens. This Hercules and Aphrodite together is going to be so difficult to kill. They jump in onto Globe. Eat!
First blood over to the Kaolin Wardens through mid. You heard inbound say it on the desk. Nog is him when he gets that Raijin. You see exactly why. Level 2, level 3 pops up. Immediate dive onto the mid laner. First blood for the Kaolin Wardens. And who better to give it to than Nog, like a player who's really shown up to play over the course of, I would say, this entire year. We really kind of first hear about Nog jumping up into SEC. We're like, who is this guy? He has a couple of pop-off games.
He's him.
And all of a sudden, everybody's, well, now singing the praises, and rightfully so, towards it. Meanwhile, solo lane, Tegveer in a little bit of danger, but slaaaaaasH not willing to commit with how low of HP his fellow solo laner is.
Yeah, just putting some pressure out, making sure the Tegveer doesn't just overtake this lane, gives him Delnyyy some breathing room there. That won't be too much of a problem. Once these guys hit level 5, probably not seeing too much more out of him. If Delnyyy needs to, he's going to throw a rock to clear the wave and not interact with Tegveer too much. Might see some slap fighting, but I would be surprised if we saw too much actual violence happening over there. I want to circle back, though, to Nog and versus GIobe in the mid lane, because this is, I think, one of the most pivotal points on the map right now. GIobe on this Cuckoo is so effective. Oh, slaaaaaasH actually secures that blue buff. Nicely done from him. GIobe is so comfortable on these long-range artillery mages, and we saw a little bit of that in Game 2 when he's on the Janus, throwing those unstable vortexes. Granted, he was blinking forward to land them at close range, but this is where he's most comfortable. We've seen him on the Cuckoo, we've seen him on the Toths, dropping the tornadoes, the long-range Zephyrs, and most importantly, the big secure ultimates. That is one thing that the Storm really like having on their team. And this is the first time in this set that they've actually drafted one for themselves. I think it's going to be a big impact on how much objective fighting and how much objective control we're going to see from both sides here.
Bit off the mark from Tubahh this time to secure that ultimate. Maybe land a stun onto one of the members of the duo lane. Shi'igami and Hapn. Little heads up aware, able to get out of the Sunlight Swords on the side of the Kaolin, or on the side of the Xibalba Storm, I should say. So now we got to see kind of how these Ratmilk GIobe combination works. We've seen it in games of past and sets of past. In fact, this might be one of my favorite combinations that Xibalba Storm have run. This Hun Batz, combo it with that Kukulkan. You're talking about that long-range damage. Throw him into a Fear No Evil to lock him inside of one of these tornadoes. Get that Serpent 9 wins after. That's an easy combo for the Xibalba Storm to pull off. You think to the flip side, slaaaaaasH also has some pretty good synergy alongside Nog. You pull anybody into that pal out, makes for some easy follow-up. Beads now from GIobe. Quick response after being landed by that pal out damage from slaaaaaasH. You were just talking about him for a moment there. But that's another usage of that ultimate from the Kukulkan. You getting pressured out in mid, throw it against the wave. You can get that wave cleared out pretty easily.
Yeah, you're not going to need it for a hot minute or two, so might as well just use it. Make sure you don't lose anything in mid. Get yourself a back. Get reset there. Yeah, I mean, slaaaaaasH was looking for that for a hot second. He was sitting around that wall just waiting for GIobe to use the abilities and drop his guard. Probably wasn't expecting to get too much. The beads are a win enough, because it just means that now he can go back. And GIobe has less safety available to him. This Kukulkan, for as long range as he is, as much as he can safely clear from under his tower, is not himself a particularly safe god. No mobility, no inherent CC immunity. Now, Hapn and Shi'igami may be under some pressure. Good silence stops anything from happening there. Does mean the Wardens should be able to pick up the shield buff themselves. Those Wardens getting off to a good start here, already building themselves a lead. They're looking to apply pressure across the map again.
I'll be honest, watching the picks and bans here for game number 3, Spooky, I was expecting almost total support bans across the board. Specifically, 2 of them towards ELLEON. You know, you get your standards, you get the Athena, that's kind of a given. Sometimes you throw the Emoji, though she's kind of fallen off. But I was expecting Maui Aphrodite from the Xibalba Storm to ban that one away. And then I was expecting a Ganesha ban with how well Hapn has been playing this pick and for how consistently he's been getting this one and popping off with it. I was surprised to see that only one of those 3 was banned away and ended up being the Maui from the Xibalba Storm. Yes, the Maui was great from ELLEON, but whenever the Maui is not available, or when I should say more than anything, when the Afro is, ELLEON has been doing disgusting things with Aphrodite. It's been I would say his #1 pick overall this weekend when he's given the opportunity, and he just looks so good on the pick. I'm honestly shocked that he was able to get this one in a Game 3 scenario.
I really think it comes down to the annoyance factor, right? He's played Maui twice, and by this point, the Storm are just tired of dealing with this guy. Storm, gonna get aggressive on the Slash up to the Powwow. Should give Slash enough safety. Hapn gets pulled back in, but Slash is out of there. So you've had to deal with the Maui a few times already. And he's just running at you, man. He's just in your face, constantly throwing this big old pile of fish. Might have to come back to that because the Storm are just looking to be so aggressive. And I think this is part of why they don't focus too much on those supports. ELLEON is going to roam around. The Storm have drafted this Hoonbots. They're willing to just drop a Fear No Evil and separate the team. Good lord.
Oh, GIobe doesn't get a farm back camps. Instead, that belongs to Nog and Slash, and so does his health bar. At that, Kaolin Wardens going to keep up the aggression in the right side jungle. Nog by himself, but level 10 versus a level 8 and 7. I think Nog is comfortable for the time being, especially knowing that Fear No Evil is down from Ratmilk. So has that guaranteed safety and still had the beads just in case he needed it along with ultimate. So not a fear in the world for Nog on the Raijin. And I think that's going to be one of the players that we're going to be looking towards for the Kaolin Wardens to really help lead the charge. I mean, you throw Nog and ELLEON together at any given point, you have essentially an unkillable Raijin that's going to be pumping out more damage than anybody knows what to deal with.
And that's why I'm surprised we don't see Ratmilk in this mid lane a little bit more. As we've mentioned throughout this set, GIobe and Ratmilk are a phenomenal duo, and this team really looks their best when these two in particular are firing on all cylinders. So if I'm the Xibalba Storm, I want to see Ratmilk in my mid lane, getting GIobe ahead, and just trying to pressure Nog on this Raijin. It's not going to be the easiest thing in the world to do. Yes, he has CC immunity in the Taiko drums, but guess what? That's also a self-slow. If you go up to the Taiko drums, it's so easy for GIobe to just say, well, here's a big old dragon from the skies. Would you like to take that damage? And there's not a lot that Nog would be able to say about that. But we haven't seen that kind of focus coming through yet. Instead, Nog is just getting to rotate around this map. This is like the second or third time he's been at the shield buff, just securing it to make sure his dual lane is feeling good. Right now, if I'm the Storm, my thoughts are all about how to restrict Nog in this game, because that's a big win con for the Wardens, and we've seen it throughout this entire set so far. Even in game 2, when the Wardens were starting to lose fights, Nog is putting out the damage. He is ending with 55,000 player damage. You got to start thinking about how you deal with him.
I think Nog is definitely the player that you have to keep eyes on throughout this game for the Xibalba Storm. Figure out, what does it take to kill the Raijin? What does it take to put pressure on Nog? I think you already gave a pretty good answer for it as we even just look down the column of the Xibalba Storm. It's got to be Ratmilk trying to get active, because, I mean, sure, Hapn might be able to show up, stop a Thunder Crash maybe with a silence, but outside of that, it's all about the lockdown. It's all about burning those beads. Slash on top of GIobe, trades out, gets the ultimate at the very least, but it's Nog with the kill. Hapn pulled back, trying to silence, but not going to get it instead. Dharmic Pillar now going to be available to him, and it's a Powwow to pull him back and Nog to put him down. Double kill for the mid laner of the Kaolin Wardens, and 4 in a row. Every single kill has gone to him because the Kaolin Wardens are saying, Nog, it's time for you to carry us through.
Man, they're just putting so much pressure onto GIobe. They've recognized how easy it is for Slash and Nog on these two gods to just kill this Kukulkan so quickly. And they're just feeding Nog so much golden XP. Already at a 4,000 gold lead is the Wardens. And there's not a lot Ratmilk has been able to do to slow it down. We've seen these two play these exact two gods before, Hoonbots and Kukulkan, and it goes well for them. But right now, the Wardens are setting a pace for the game, and it's one that the Storm has not been able to keep up with. Ratmilk isn't getting to these camps in time. He's not getting to his mid laner in time, because the Wardens are, in some cases, just saying, okay, you know what? We'll get this camp a little bit later. Right now, I want to get the enemy green buff, because I'm pretty sure we can also pick up an enemy Kukulkan at the same time. That leads them to a Gold Fury and a very comfortable lead 11 minutes in.
Level 14 for the Raijin.
That's crazy.
For Nog, I mean, 11 minutes in, he is outpacing the entire map by a mile at this point. He's got to be getting close to that level 15 point as well. I mean, you got to find an answer to him. We keep saying that it's Ratmilk. Hapn tried to get it done, but He was already too late because GIobe was half HP by the time that Hapn even got to the team fight to try and save his mid laner. Still no threat on beads for Nog, by the way. He used his ultimate for immunity during that last team fight, so still has that safety relic. And if we look over at Ratmilk, and we've been talking about him a lot and how impactful Fear No Evil is, how good that single ability is in the game, the fact he can turn a team fight in an instant. We've seen him use it, what, once so far now in 12 minutes? And one of those was barely at the very cusp edge of it to hit Slash at his green buff. He was then able to go on to Palau immediately right away. So just haven't seen Ratmilk really be able to get much use of the ultimate, really make use of this Hun Batz just yet. We'll see maybe if he can get something going in this next team fight. But first beacon spawned up. Kaolin Wardens are already on top of the scene. Grab that one instantly. Slash blinks past Hapn. Hapn able to dash away, though, and now Slash the one taking a bit more damage. GIobe's nearing by. Starting to get those items online. And unfortunate for Tegveer, well, Nog isn't satisfied sticking around the mid lane any longer. He goes over to soul lane, picks up a kill.
Number 5 for Nog.
Unreal.
And number 5 for the Wardens overall as well. The problem that the Storm have right now is that you can't just stop Nog. That's not enough, because anytime you're looking at Nog, you're also looking at ELLEON, you're looking at Slash. This time, Nog took the initiative and went over to help Delnyyy. But it's never just one person. Now look at GIobe having to run away, tail between his non-existent serpent legs, just trying to get out of the mid lane. That's going to be one more objective now, going the way of the Wardens. They're going to go ahead and pick up this Pyromancer, push themselves a little bit further ahead. The Storm are just a little bit too far behind right now to fight into the 3-man grouping that the Warden is throwing at them. Because it's basically another situation where you have 2 lives, right? You've got Nog has his initial life, but there's also the undying love that you have to worry about. And on top of that, you also have healing coming out from ELLEON. So this health bar is deceptive. Nog is not as easy to kill as he otherwise should be. And, you know, I think it would be really funny. I don't think he should. I think this would be a bad idea. But I think it would be really funny if he went alternate timeline as well, just to, like, rub the salt into the wound and make it that much harder to kill him.
I mean, at this point, Nog is just bored with mid lane. He sat over in solo for, like, the last minute and a half with Delnyyy, just making sure that Tegveer got no blue buff, no cooldown buff, barely any farm available. In fact, Tegveer has to wait till the wave essentially comes to his tier 2 tower whenever Nog is standing nearby. Because Nog's already hit that level 16, getting close to that level 17 point, but it's not just Nog in the lead. Yes, this mid laner 5-0. I'd imagine that Nog should have been further ahead at this point, almost pushing 18, if he was getting the more optimal farm, I guess is the better way to put it, as opposed to the just kind of power move farm. But you look over in support, it's 3 levels for ELLEON, 2 levels for Tubahh. The dual lane, a combined 5 up so far. And even the jungle and the solo lane sitting almost 2 levels each up. Just about everywhere on the map, the Kaolin Wardens have spiked up not just this 5,000-6,000 gold lead that they have, but also 8,000, even higher than that, and climbing experience. And it gives them the opportunity to do this. Primal Fury, the moment they pull it, it's half HP, but this is the answer for the Xibalba Storm. They start up the Fire Giant, and the Kaolin Wardens get there in time. Delnyyy has showed up on the scene. He's going to be the 1 versus 5 till the rest of the team shows up, and Nog will be the first one to be his cavalry. The ultimate has been used. The Fire Giant not secured yet, but the Kaolin Wardens do manage to get it, but they're going to lose at least 1 for it, and that first one will be GIobe. Mid laner gone, 6 in a row for Nog, and Slash is going to try and make it a bit more. Pull some relics in the backside. Hapn by his lonesome, and it's going to be kill number 7 on the board for the Kaolin Wardens. This one going over to Delnyyy. Shiπigami dove under the tier 1 tower. Slash and ELLEON team up for that one. A 3-man wipe for the Kaolin Wardens. The Fire Giant may have gone to Storm, and they lost so much in return.
Well, you got the objective. What was the cost? Just about everything. Lose it on both your backliners. All this Fire Giant really did was make sure the Wardens didn't also get the Fire Giant. But with what you lost off of it, they may as well have had it. You lose 2 towers in the mid lane, lose 3 of your members, and now the Wardens have an 8,000 gold lead over the Storm. This is not a good look. That was a gambit that they tried to take. They tried to bank on the fact that the Wardens couldn't get there in time, and they bet they're wrong. They just simply made a miscalculation. Wardens show up a lot faster than the Storm expected. They sent Nog over from that Primal Fury very quickly. He started it and immediately left because they wised up to the fact that the Storm weren't anywhere on the map. If they weren't on that left side around the Fury, there's only one place they could be. Send Tegveer over, check it out, and oh, well, this is not good. Or, I'm sorry, Delnyyy checked it out and found them in a heartbeat. And it just goes completely wrong from there. Wardens have now pretty much taken over this game. The Storm don't have a good avenue that they can themselves create. They have to let the Warden step forward and look for a misstep, an over-aggression, and try to punish that instead. Their window is getting smaller and smaller. They've been in this situation before. We saw it in Game 2. Make no mistake, J-Mac. They were 9,000 gold down. They still came back and won. This time around, they haven't put a single kill on the board. They haven't found any objectives for themselves. It's looking a little bit tougher this time around.
Yeah, you look up at that Fire Giant power play and you see the negative numbers. When you see negative numbers on a Fire Giant power play, you know that that was a desperation play to just get the objective away from the Wardens. And at least for the Xibalba Storm, that is their silver lining, is they kept the Fire Giant off the Wardens. It removes off the board for 5 minutes. Shipigami forced to use that chariot away from the skies, crash back down over. We'll head towards mid, maybe just all the way to right, get some farm on the opposite side of the map. He's going to take a full lap over to the opposite end of the map, but now that's going to leave everybody on the Kaolin Wardens elsewhere. Ratmilk didn't have the beads back up, so he gets pulled back in and knocked away. 7 in a row for Nog, only 18 minutes in. And Delnyyy wants a little bit more, pops the beads to try and pull back Globe. It's just a little too far away. Now, it'll be a 5 versus 4 on this mid Phoenix. When we're pushing Phoenix 18 minutes in the game, it's only Tegveer still with the Fire Giant buff. The sprint has been popped. Tubahh's going to walk in and try and work towards the Phoenix. The Runic Bomb was also in play. Ultimate from Tubahh to immune a bit. Steps away from the Serpent of the Nine Winds, but Tegveer gets picked up and pushed right back in, but Tegveer will instead turn it right back to Delnyyy and Tubahh. The mid Phoenix has been saved for the time being. The Kaolin Wardens, they focus too much on the fight and they don't end up getting the bird.
And Globe putting out some good damage with those tornadoes, placing them just so that Tubahh couldn't comfortably step up to that Phoenix. Had to be very careful in the positioning. Loses half his life. Tegveer pushes Delnyyy back into them as well. That's really why the Wardens have to walk away from this one. Still, they took half the health bar away from the Phoenix. And as you mentioned, J-Mac, we are 19 minutes into this game. This is an incredibly early Phoenix push. I don't think the Wardens were really expecting to get that one. It was more of a heat check. See how much damage they could put out to it, how much damage the Storm could put back into them. I think the Wardens were actually pretty comfortable with what they saw there. They're going to take this Oni Fury down, likely just to group up now around the next Fire Giant. With that one, I expect more of these tier 2s to be falling. I don't expect them to go right back to that Phoenix. But they know what kind of defense the Storm can put up now, and it's probably not going to be around those tier 2s.
Well, Nog has now hit level 20. He's got the golden hand to upgrade that starter item. And unfortunately for us, doesn't go into the alternate timeline. Does just go the pendulum this time. Probably the wiser to call. Extra nice little bump in power for the mid laner. Also near full build. 5 full items at this point, including that upgraded starter. You look to the opposite side, and Globe has about the equivalent of 4 items, so 1 full up. Now for the mid laner, the Kaolin Wardens in a 10,000 gold lead nearly at this point. Xibalba Storm, they are just fishing for anything, anyone to step inside of the jungle on the Warden side of the map. Instead, you actually do see the Storm grouping up, maybe towards left tier 2, see if they can find a pick there. slaaaaaasH has spotted them out. He's got wards down just to see what's happening, but now it's a call back instead for the Kaolin Wardens to maybe try and keep the Xibalba Storm busy. As you do see Tubahh split pushing on the right side of the map. That sent 3 people back to deter him. And he's not even going to continue pushing up to tier 2. He just pushed the way forward and said, all right, cool. How many people went back to base? I got 3 backs for that? Man, he's got to be feeling pretty honored at that point.
Yeah, this has pretty much shut down any push potential from the Wardens on that opposite side. Sure, Globe and Hapn are still over there, but they're not going to be burning that tower down. They're not even going to step up to it. Instead, the Wardens now have all the room in the world to go right over to this Fire Giant. Shi'Nigami's going to go up in the air, check it out, do some scouting. But, I mean, with the deficit that the Storm are at, there's really no threat of him dropping onto the Fire Giant. Instead, I'm going to try to switch this out, trade the Fire Giant for the tier 2 on the left side. That's about all they're going to get, though. They can't even pressure a Phoenix off this. Look how slowly it's going down.
Yeah, that's the downside of maybe the build path that Shinigami's gone towards. Aussie, once again, dominance into crit, so not a whole lot of pen available to him for these towers more than anything else. So tier 2 tower does fall, but it's Fire Giant for the Kaolin Wardens. They'll continue their march up towards the right side of the map. Remember, Delnyyy does have teleport. All it needs is a split moment for him to rejoin the rest of the team. As the Kaolin Wardens do start pushing up right side. 9-0 is the team so far here in Game 3. The Worlds qualifying the group stage match. And the Kaolin Wardens are pulling out all the stops. Slash goes up to the sky. Able to pull back nobody this time. It is Beads and a Magi's expended just to try and get away from Slash at this point. But that's now knowledge for the Kaolin Wardens that GIobe is without that CC immunity.
That's a big one to lose CC immunity on, too. GIobe is very important for this defense. Being able to put down the Tornadoes and the Spirit of the Nine Winds to defend these Phoenixes, that's crucial damage. And if he doesn't have the safety to be able to step forward, he's not going to get that off. Kaolin Wardens can simply dive in, and sure, the Powwow might be down for right now, but Delnyyy is able to dive in very effectively. He's going to have disruption. Nog's going to have the Taiko drums. This is very dangerous for the Xibalba Storm. It's down to this left bird. Have to see what they can do.
Left side Phoenix Siege for 4. Kaolin Warden's going to play this one cautiously. Remember, last game, they were in a position similar to this. They were 9,000 gold up over the Xibalba Storm. They take one too many fights, step a little too far forward, and get a little overzealous up against their opposition. And the Xibalba Storm were able to claw their way back through, find themselves a game 2, tie things up. So the Kaolin Wardens paying some respect to the Xibalba Storm. Even with a 13,000 gold lead, bad fight under Phoenix could turn the tide of the game back towards Xibalba Storm. So Kaolin Wardens will instead head towards the Primal Fury, clear this one out, head back to base and spend up some of their gold. You can even see how little fighting, or I should say maybe how short some of these team fights are going when you look at some of the player damage. The fact that we're 23 minutes in and Nog is only at 11,000 when last game we were sitting 30 or so minutes in and he said at 40, 45K, just goes to tell you how little elongated fights have been going on between these two teams. Shinigami again using the chariot just to scout out what's going on across the map. He'll head over towards right, and the Kaolin Wardens know that once again they're going to have an advantage because they know that Shinigami, the only way he's getting a soul lane is by flying over there. So no way for Shinigami to get back with the rest of the team. It's the Kaolin Wardens pushing up towards mid-Phoenix. Delnyyy first on the scene. Runic Bomb dropped down, and it will do most of the damage to the bird. Tubahh trying to do the rest of it. He's sitting inside the Dharmic Pillar, pops the Aegis and the beads to get away. Mid-Phoenix down for the Kaolin Wardens.
Titan pushing in as well. That's going to give the option for the Wardens to shift over to the left side. So far, it's not looking great for the Storm. There's one more siege to go.
Tegveer blinks forward, gets stopped in his tracks, and Slash takes down Ratmilk. Tries to go for a pull, doesn't get anybody this time. Instead, trying to take down the mid laner, but it's the Serpent of the Nine Winds, dealing most of Slash's health bar, but he takes down Tegveer, who went to the back to try and distract once more. Double kill for Slash still. Not a single death on the side of the Kaolin Wardens, and 11 kills for them. 7 of those around the waist of the mid laner, but 100% participation for Nog. The Kaolin Wardens now one fight away from going to the Worlds qualifiers. A 5 versus 3 on the right side, and Nog is the one looping around the back, sends the fire minions in. Shinigami dashes right into his hand. Nog nearly takes him down by himself. To the back line he goes. GIobe's got nothing left. It's only Hapn left, and the Dharmic Pillars are already gone. The Kaolin Wardens, your first team out of North America to qualify to the group stage.
What a statement from the Wardens. 13-0, J-Mac. After such a close set to game 1 to game 2, they simply turned things up and said, you know what? We're done with this. We are going to Worlds, and we're not going to be seeing you there. Complete shutout of game. It's all really off of Slash and Nog working together to just facilitate that mid lane. Nog was pushed so far ahead. I mean, you saw it in that last fight.
Yep.
Shinigami makes a dash towards safety and instantly dies because Nog is just waiting there for him.
Yeah, if I've learned anything from this set, It's you gotta stop giving ELLEON the Aphrodite. He's too good on it. And you just can't give anything to nnog. If you could somehow ban a player, that's probably the best shot that some of these teams have against him, because, man, he is just unbelievable for the performance he's had over the course of this phase and for this tournament. Kaolin Wardens went out in 3. They're your first team to qualify to the SWC group stage. That's it for me and Spooky here on the cast. We'll throw it back over to the desk to break it down.
That's right. The Wardens are the first team in North America to qualify to the group stages, which means multiple things. There's only one more spot that they get to come in as the NA1 seed, which maybe is going to help them out a little bit when they get to groups. But also it means that their road is not done. Now, it's not done for the Storm just yet, but right now I think inbound to shower the praises on the Wardens and maybe to continue the conversation that the casters are having. Nog's insane, as it turns out.
Yeah. it was that he's just incredible. Just watching him play, like you give him Raijin, he's gonna carry the game. You give him Morgan, he's gonna do as much as he can. And this is the second time we saw him play Raijin in this set. He got the first blood at like 2 minutes in both games, killing GIobe in both games. And I would have to agree that a reasonable way to beat these guys is by taking away nog's ability to play the game. And it really comes down to, 1, you can't give him the first blood. 2, like the game 2 I think is a perfect example. 2, you have to have a reasonable and simpler way to deal with him. And I think Raijin is not a god that is easy to deal with. I think he's very simple for the most part. He does a lot of things. Morgan has weaknesses. I've not really seen many weaknesses from this Raijin mid. And I'd actually not be too surprised when we go back and we watch some SPL or for this tournament coming up in January. Raijin's just going to shift over to the mid lane. Like, that's how incredible he looked in this entire tournament.
Oh, man.
Nnog looked incredible on him. We also saw, what's his name from the Sages?
Nehu?
The other one.
Baronary?
Baronary.
Scorpions.
Yeah, Scorpions.
Close enough.
Yeah, we saw him on Raijin too, and it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what more can you say about how well the Wardens played? Did not drop a single set. Played phenomenal the entire week. Dropped maybe a game or two here, but I mean, every single one of these players played phenomenal. And slaaaaaasH is normally a solo laner, switches over to jungle, looks relatively comfortable. Delnnyyy's not playing those mages. He wants to play those warriors. It looks really comfortable. And I mean, Tubahh off of Chernobog looks great. Maybe no more bog.
No more bog.
No
Ban
more
the bog. Get rid of it. I'm actually really excited to see, because as you had mentioned, if we see this Raijin switching over to mid, first off, I had like war flashbacks to Shinto's tear in the SPL, which admittedly, that's not until January 12th that we would even have an opportunity to see that, because the Leviathans have already been there and they're going to stay there for a long time. But looking towards this, this for those of you who've been watching, like there was a patch on Tuesday. These guys are not playing on that patch, right? This is not on that patch, and that was in theory going to be able to swap the mages for warriors. So if Delnnyyy's already on the warrior kick, who knows? Maybe by the time January comes around, these guys are ahead of the curve. We'll have to see for that one. As of now, what matters is that they have qualified, and congratulations to the Wardens. We'll see you in just over 2 weeks to come in and try and compete for a spot. The SMITE World Championship, January 12th through 14th in Arlington, Texas. There's some tough teams to go through, though. The 4 SPL teams that are still hanging around there, as well as, the 2 EU teams, plus whoever is going to join you. We just saw the Storm did not make it easy, and they have a second chance right here. Sages, though, have their opportunity as well to try and come back. The Sages beaten out by the Wardens. Now the Storm beaten out by the Wardens. Both of them want to get their revenge one way or another. And, of course, both of them want to make it to the group stages. One more spot is there, and, man, that puts the pressure on, right? It's best of 3. And after this, again, you have to go through another tournament. Then you're at the world stage, but every step is a step closer to lifting Thor's hammer at the end of the year, which is incredible, incredible work to see from these guys. It's been... I'm still floored. That was such a fun game to watch, but very, very controlling from the Wardens, which puts a little bit of a scare, I think, into everybody involved. But the Storm and the Sages. And again, I can't believe this, but our 5th seed is going in, and now the 4th and the 6th seed are going to be fighting for the final spot. It's absolutely insane. And to, get myself a little more prepared, get some more time for it, and of course, to set up for the next set, we're going to kick into a quick break, and then when we get back, it's the last qualifier match here for North America.
I try to hold back the evil inside, but I know it isn't fair. You didn't know I was watching. I didn't